Brother, your medical skills are amazing. Chapter 1, Encountering Something Unforeseen. Longyang Village. Surrounded by mountains, at the center is a large lake, Longyang Lake. Lin Xiaolong, carrying a bamboo basket on his back, was struggling to climb up the mountain. Under the scorching sun, no one dared to come outside, everyone was staying indoors. Lin Xiaolong was on his way to collect herbs to treat his parents' illnesses. He was the only university student in the village, studying medicine. With handsome features and a bright future ahead, his life seemed set. However, during the second semester of his first year, a city girl named Huang Jing took an interest in him, and they began dating. Coming from a rural background, Lin Xiaolong was innocent and naive, thinking Huang Jing genuinely liked him. But after 2 months, Huang Jing, attracted only by his looks, dumped him without a second thought. Heartbroken and unwilling to accept it, Lin Xiaolong went to confront Huang Jing, only to find her in bed with her new boyfriend. Huang Jing's new boyfriend, Zhao Meng, was a school bully whose family was involved in construction. When he saw Lin Xiaolong confronting them, he ordered some local thugs to beat him up to the point of near death. Lin Xiaolong suffered a severe concussion and was left with brain damage, causing him to become a fool. The university expelled him. Lin Xiaolong's father, Lin Xiaolong, enraged by the injustice, went to Zhao Meng to demand an explanation, only to have his leg broken by Zhao Meng. Afterward, a kind-hearted person brought Lin Xiaolong back home, but Lin Xiaolong's mother, Wang Ju, suffered a stroke due to the shock. She didn't die, but was left paralyzed, unable to walk properly and confined to bed, unable to cook. With the burden of the family falling entirely on Lin Xiaolong's younger sister, Lin Xiaolong, she was forced to abandon her education to care for the family. Despite this, Lin Xiaolong never complained, tirelessly taking care of everything at home. Although Lin Xiaolong had become a fool, he could still work. Every day, he would climb the mountain with his bamboo basket to gather herbs for his parents. However, the herbs he collected had no effect on his parents' condition. Finally, reaching the summit, Lin Xiaolong was panting heavily, drenched in sweat. The breeze on the mountaintop brought a refreshing coolness. Just as Lin Xiaolong was about to stand up to search for herbs, he suddenly heard a strange noise coming from a distance. What was that sound? Curious, Lin Xiaolong walked toward the noise. There were 2 large stones with a flat stone wedged between them, and the sound seemed to come from the flat stone. As he took a few steps closer, Lin Xiaolong overheard a man's voice, "Don't worry, Shun'er, no one will be here. We can do whatever we want." Intrigued, Lin Xiaolong hurried to the spot and witnessed a scene that made him bleed from his nose. The village chief, Liu Dabiao, and the accountant, Wang Chun, were engaged in an inappropriate act. Lin Xiaolong's sudden appearance startled both of them. Wang Chun quickly grabbed her clothes to cover herself. Liu Dabiao, furious and embarrassed, leaped up and rushed to Lin Xiaolong, glaring at him. "Damn it, you fool! What are you doing here? You're ruining my good time." I was gathering herbs." "But village chief, don't you have a wife? Wang Chun has a man too." Lin Xiaolong, being a fool, asked the most naive question. "It's none of your business. Get lost. If you say anything, I'll kill you." Liu Dabiao warned angrily. "Oh." Lin Xiaolong turned and walked away. "Brother Biao, if he tells anyone, we're done for," Wang Chun reminded anxiously. "Damn it, people come to even places like this," Liu Dabiao muttered, and suddenly, an evil thought crossed his mind. In a few quick steps, he reached Lin Xiaolong, grabbed him, and dragged him toward the nearby cliff. Below the cliff was Longyang Lake. The cliff was several hundred meters high. Falling would likely result in death, or at the very least, drowning. Liu Dabiao, afraid that their shameful act would be exposed, decided to silence Lin Xiaolong once and for all. Lin Xiaolong, already a fool and weak from his injuries, stood no chance of resisting. Whoosh! Before Lin Xiaolong even realized what was happening, Liu Dabiao had thrown him off the cliff. The wind whistled in his ears as he fell rapidly. Screaming in terror, Lin Xiaolong reached out desperately, grabbing at vines along the cliffside. Liu Dabiao looked down from above, feeling dizzy. Splash! A huge splash erupted below. "Har!" Liu Dabiao sneered. "You interrupted my fun, now you'll be food for the turtles." "Brother Biao, you really threw him down?" Wang Chun asked, shocked. "Don't worry, babe. This fool fell into Longyang Lake by accident. It has nothing to do with us. Liu Dabiao, already forgetting about the interruption, eagerly turned back to Wang Chun. Let us continue. This place is so exciting. Though no one was bothering them now, Wang Chun was still nervous, constantly worrying that Lin Xiaolong might crawl back up. Her unease made Liu Dabia lose interest, and soon, they quickly left the scene. The afternoon passed quickly. Night fell. On Longyang Mountain, the surroundings were pitch black, and the eerie calls of night owls could be heard echoing through the air. Goo goo wah, goo goo wah. In the middle of the cliff, on a protruding green stone, Lin Xiaolong, tangled in vines, had fallen into the water, but a stone had cushioned his fall. During his descent, he had been knocked unconscious, but the mountain breeze at night revived him. Upon realizing where he was, Lin Xiaolong nearly peed himself in fright. Any slight movement felt like he was going to fall off. Looking up, the cliff seemed endless, while below, the moonlit water of the lake shimmered, seeming to be over 100 meters deep. What should he do? He couldn't reach up or down, he might starve to death here. The green stone was too small, and with any movement, he could easily fall off. Lin Xiaolong instinctively huddled closer to the rock. Suddenly, his body slipped further into the hole behind him. Ha! There was a hole behind him? He tugged at the vines wrapped around him, clearing away the vines in front of a dark hole. It was big enough for a person to enter, about 1 meter tall. Although Lin Xiaolong was frightened, it seemed much safer than being out in the open where he might fall at any moment. Taking a deep breath, he gathered his courage and entered the cave. Inside, he saw a statue emitting a greenish glow. It resembled an ancient Taoist priest, seated in meditation, facing the entrance. The statue appeared to be made of jade. Through the glowing light, Lin Xiaolong noticed the cave wasn't very large, about 40-50 square meters. Around the statue, there didn't seem to be much else, except for a prayer mat in front of it. Lin Xiaolong, grateful for surviving, believed the statue must have saved him. He immediately knelt on the mat and bowed to the statue. Bang, bang, bang. He bowed 3 times, saying, "Thank you, great deity, for saving me." What he didn't know was that the wound on his head from his fall caused blood to drip onto a stone on the ground. The blood mixed with the stone and was absorbed into it. Just as Lin Xiaolong was about to stand up, the jade statue suddenly glowed brightly and shot toward his head. In an instant, the statue disappeared, leaving no trace. At the same time, Lin Xiaolong felt an overwhelming surge of unfamiliar knowledge flooding his mind. Lin Xiaolong, I am Longyang Jinren. We are destined to meet. I will now pass on all my knowledge to you, hoping that you will punish the wicked and help the world. A deafening voice rang in Lin Xiaolong's ears. After delivering its message, it fell silent. Lin Xiaolong was left in complete shock. His normally dull mind had become crystal clear. Chapter 2, Xiang Xiu. The Shenong technique can cure various difficult and mysterious illnesses. The Longyang skill can transform one into a master through cultivation. The yin-yang method allows one to predict the future and observe the unseen forces of nature. Shenong technique and the yin-yang method had deeply imprinted themselves in Lin Xiaolong's mind, and he had completely mastered them. As for the Longyang skill, he needed to practice according to the specific instructions in order to become a true master. Now that Lin Xiaolong had become the successor of Longyang Jinren Longyang the true immortal, his mind had become clear and sharp, no longer the fool he once was. All his previous memories were now crystal clear in his mind. Lin Xiaolong clenched his fists. Those who harmed me, wait for the storm to come. The statue in front of him had completely disappeared, so Lin Xiaolong bowed 3 more times, "Thank you, master." He then began to explore the cave. With the true teachings passed down to him, Lin Xiaolong's eyesight had become much sharper. In the pitch-black cave, he could now see clearly. After taking a look around, he found nothing else of interest. However, near the entrance, he noticed a hidden iron chain embedded in the cliff wall. After pulling on it, he confirmed it was solid and strong. This meant he could use the iron chain to climb up the mountain. However, Lin Xiaolong didn't climb just yet. Though he had received the inheritance, his body still felt very weak. He realized that with his current physical state, he would not be able to make it to the top. Lin Xiaolong decided to first practice the Longyang skill in the cave. The Longyang skill had 99 levels. Lin Xiaolong sat cross-legged and, following the instructions in his mind, began practicing. The spiritual energy from the surrounding mountains quickly gathered into the cave, which Lin Xiaolong absorbed into his body. With the true teachings from Longyang Jinren, Lin Xiaolong's cultivation progressed rapidly. After 2 hours, he broke through the first level of the Longyang skill. His body shot up with energy, and he felt as if he had limitless strength. His reflexes were also much faster than before. When a flying insect passed in front of him, he felt like it was moving in slow motion, and he could catch it with ease. In truth, it wasn't that the insect was moving slowly, but rather that Lin Xiaolong's reflexes had become incredibly quick. Thinking of his parents and sister waiting at home, and how they would be worried since he had not yet returned, Lin Xiaolong decided to hurry and climb to the top of the mountain before heading home. He quickly scaled the iron chain like a monkey, using the technique he had just mastered. The distance to the top was around 200 meters, but he reached the summit effortlessly, without feeling any fatigue. Then, in the cover of night, he sped down the mountain toward Longyang Village. It used to take him over 3 hours to descend, but this time, thanks to his newfound energy, keen eyesight, and enhanced stamina, he made it down in less than an hour. At the village edge, next to a large walnut tree, was the home of Xiang Xiu, the village's beautiful widow. Although Xiang Xiu was a widow, she was only 25, with a full, stunning figure that resembled a ripe peach. She had been married to the village carpenter, Wang, to bring good luck to his ailing son, but after their marriage, before they could consummate it, Wang's son passed away. Heartbroken, Wang took his own life, leaving Xiang Xiu a widow. Since then, the men in the village had all coveted her beauty, often trying to flirt with her, but she never paid them any attention. However, Xiang Xiu had always been kind to Lin Xiaolong, often giving him food she had prepared herself. Passing by her house, Lin Xiaolong paused for a moment at the doorstep. Suddenly, footsteps sounded from inside. Lin Xiaolong froze. Was someone at her house? Or was it just Xiang Xiu getting up to use the bathroom? As he stood there in confusion, the door swung open. In an instant, a basin of water was thrown at him, drenching him completely. Xiang Xiu, who had opened the door in her thin nightgown, was equally startled. Who's standing outside, she wondered. Was it one of the men trying to take advantage of her again? Xiang Xiu, how did you know I was hot and wanted to take a bath? Lin Xiaolong laughed bitterly. Xiang Xiu was incredibly alluring, especially under the moonlight. Xiaolong, what are you doing here? She asked, noticing it was Lin Xiaolong. Her heart instantly relaxed, and unexpectedly, she felt a slight flutter of happiness. I was picking herbs in the mountains and passed by here, Lin Xiaolong explained. Xiang Xiu noticed that Lin Xiaolong was staring at her and felt a bit shy. Xiaolong, you're crazy. Coming back so late from the mountain, don't you fear being eaten by wolves? And with all that sweat, don't catch a cold from me splashing you with water, she said, genuinely concerned. It's fine, I'll be on my way now. Lin Xiaolong wiped the water off his face and began to walk away. Wait, come inside for a bit and dry off, Xiang Xiu said as she grabbed his hand and pulled him inside. Lin Xiaolong wanted to refuse, but the words got stuck in his throat. Once inside, Xiang Xiu quickly closed the door and locked it behind them. She led him to the courtyard. Xiaolong, I just boiled some hot water. I finished my bath, and you can use it to wash off too. You'll feel so refreshed, Xiang Xiu suggested kindly. Isn't that too much trouble? Lin Xiaolong asked. Xiaolong, you're such a fool, and now you're worried about trouble. Xiang Xiu said, not giving him a chance to refuse. She added water to a large basin and tested the temperature. All right, go ahead and wash. I'll go inside. Let me know when you're done. Lin Xiaolong had sweated a lot and was covered in dirt, so he didn't resist any longer. When Xiang Xiu went inside, Lin Xiaolong undressed and began to wash. Inside, Xiang Xiu hesitated for a moment before standing up and walking to the door. She peeked outside. Under the moonlight, Lin Xiaolong was washing himself, his youthful vigor radiating from his well-toned body. He looked incredibly fit. Xiang Xiu couldn't help but sigh. Since marrying, she had been a widow for 3 years and still remained untouched. But she was still a woman with needs. Lin Xiaolong was young, handsome, and though a fool, he had a kind heart. Compared to the men in the village who had been eyeing her, Lin Xiaolong was a far cry from the animals they were. Today, why not just? Xiang Xiu made up her mind. After Lin Xiaolong finished washing, he was about to put his clothes back on when Xiang Xiu walked out with a fresh set of clothes. Xiaolong, don't wear those dirty clothes. Wear these instead, she said, her gaze hot and undistracted as she handed him the clothes. Lin Xiaolong, flustered, grabbed the clothes and hurriedly started putting them on. The awkwardness of the situation only made Xiang Xiu laugh softly. Thank you, Xiang Xiu, but it's late, I really have to go, Lin Xiaolong said, embarrassed as he tried to leave. Don't go, Xiang Xiu grabbed his hand. Xiaolong, come inside. I have something I want to show you. Chapter 3, A Visitor in the Middle of the Night. Big sis, what do you want to show me? Lin Xiaolong seemed to sense that something was about to happen. You'll know once you come inside. Xiang Xiu pulled Lin Xiaolong into the room, where the lighting was dim. She quickly turned around, shut the door, and locked it. Big sis, what exactly do you want me to see? Lin Xiaolong asked again, staring at her. You'll know soon enough, Xiang Xiu said, her face flushed. Come closer. Huh. Lin Xiaolong was a little bewildered. Fool, come on, Xiang Xiu urged. All right. Lin Xiaolong walked toward her. Suddenly, there was a loud thud from outside, the sound of something heavy falling to the ground. Then, footsteps came running toward the door. Someone's here. Both of them were startled and quickly moved apart. Who is it? Xiang Xiu couldn't help but ask. It's me, Erhu, your brother-in-law. Open the door, and I'll treat you well, came the voice from outside. It was Liu Erhu, the brother of the village chief, Liu Dabiao. Both of them were notorious bullies in the village, causing trouble and taking advantage of women. Erhu had been eyeing Xiang Xiu for a long time, but she had always been cautious and kept him at bay. Unexpectedly, tonight, Erhu had been drinking, and he had jumped over the wall to break into her house. Erhu, you bastard, it's the middle of the night, what the hell are you doing here? Get out! Xiang Xiu yelled. Heh, I'm not leaving. I'm coming in, and we'll see who's stopping me, Erhu yelled arrogantly. This man was ruthless, and no one in the village dared to stand up to him. Xiang Xiu's house was at the edge of the village, far from others, so even if someone heard the noise, no one would intervene. Erhu had counted on this. Moreover, he thought since Xiang Xiu was a widow, it would be easy to take advantage of her. He knew she wouldn't dare shout because that would ruin her reputation. You get out now, or I'll really scream, Xiang Xiu said, trembling with fear. Scream, shout all you want, no one's coming, Erhu taunted. You're not going to do anything, so just open the door. Bang! Erhu slammed his body against the door, causing it to shake. The door couldn't withstand his massive force. What do we do? Xiaolong, hide, if he sees you, he'll kill you, Xiang Xiu said frantically, pushing Lin Xiaolong. Even now, in this dangerous situation, she was still worried about Lin Xiaolong's safety. If Erhu saw him, a fool, in her room, he would lose it and beat Lin Xiaolong to death. Lin Xiaolong's expression grew cold, but he didn't say anything. Xiang Xiu quickly shoved him into the wardrobe by the bed. What are you doing in there? Huh? You shameless widow, sneaking a man in? Open the door now, I want to see who's here trying to steal my woman. Erhu shouted, banging even harder. Xiang Xiu grabbed a rolling pin, trembling as she stood in front of the door. Bang! The door was smashed open, and Erhu stumbled inside. Xiang Xiu was so scared she backed up, and with the rolling pin in hand, she swung it at Erhu's head. Unfortunately, she missed and hit his arm instead. The blow had no effect on Erhu, who simply grinned, grabbed the rolling pin, and lunged at Xiang Xiu. She screamed as she fell onto the bed, trying to retreat. Baby, now I'm going to teach you a lesson. Erhu jumped onto the bed, his movements quick. Xiang Xiu tried to dodge, but Erhu was too fast, and he pinned her to the bed. He immediately began tearing at her clothes. Lin Xiaolong kicked the wardrobe door open and jumped out. Scum, he yelled as he grabbed Erhu's shirt and yanked him off Xiang Xiu. Who the hell is that? Erhu, furious at being interrupted, cursed loudly. It's your dragon lord, Lin Xiaolong replied coldly. Erhu, who weighed over 180 pounds, was yanked up by Lin Xiaolong effortlessly. Lin Xiaolong couldn't believe how strong he was. Erhu turned around and was furious when he saw it was Lin Xiaolong. So it's you damn fool. Xiang Xiu, you find a fool like this? You really are desperate. Erhu, get out of here. Xiang Xiu cried, crouching at the head of the bed, tears streaming down her face. You want me to leave? You keep fooling around with this idiot? No way. I'm going to deal with this fool first, then with you, you dirty woman. Erhu raised his fist and punched at Lin Xiaolong. Lin Xiaolong stepped back, then kicked Erhu hard in the stomach. With a whoosh, Erhu was sent flying over 2 meters, crashing hard into the ground. Damn it, how dare you kick me? I'll kill you. Erhu screamed in pain, struggling to get up and charge at Lin Xiaolong. Before he could, Lin Xiaolong kicked him again, this time nearly knocking the breath out of him. Then, Lin Xiaolong landed a punch to Erhu's face. Erhu was knocked out, his head ringing, unable to get up. Get out, or I'll kill you, Lin Xiaolong threatened, ready to strike again. Xiaolong, stop, don't kill him, that'll bring trouble, Xiangxiu shouted, rushing over and hugging Lin Xiaolong. You little brat, just wait, I'll kill you sooner or later. Erhu, unable to retaliate, barely managed to crawl out of the room and into the yard. He climbed over the wall and ran away. Xiaolong, are you okay? Xiangxiu said, holding Lin Xiaolong's hand, concerned about his injuries. I'm fine, big sis, Lin Xiaolong said. You should put some glass on the wall. If this scum comes back, we'll make sure he gets what's coming to him. Xiaolong, thank God for you, or I. Xiangxiu started crying. Big sis, it's fine now. You should rest. My family must be waiting for me, Lin Xiaolong said. Xiaolong, I don't know why, but tonight, you don't seem like a fool anymore. You're speaking so clearly, Xiangxiu suddenly realized. Big sis, my illness is gone. I won't let anyone bully me again. I'm going to fight for a life of my own, Lin Xiaolong said firmly. Really? That's great, I'm so happy for you. Xiangxiu suddenly blushed, remembering her previous actions. She couldn't help but feel embarrassed. She had thought Lin Xiaolong was a fool, so she had given herself to him, thinking he wouldn't understand. But now, with him acting so different, would he see her as a bad woman? Chapter 4, The Jade Bottle. Xiangxiu Jie, it's too late. I'll come see you again another time. Lin Xiaolong waved goodbye to Xiangxiu and ran back toward his home. Xiangxiu gazed at Lin Xiaolong's retreating figure with a feeling of loss in her heart. He seems not to be stupid anymore, but is still just a fool. He doesn't even know how to seize such a good opportunity. From far away, Lin Xiaolong saw his mother and sister leaning against the old wooden gate, anxiously waiting for him. His nose tingled, and tears almost welled up in his eyes. He, a grown man, had failed to give his family a good life. Instead, he had brought them nothing but poverty. If it weren't for him, his father wouldn't have had his legs broken, his mother wouldn't have suffered a stroke from worry, and his sister wouldn't have had to drop out of high school. He clenched his fists silently. Family, from today onwards, I, Lin Xiaolong, will never let you suffer again. I'll make sure you have the best life. Mom, sis, Lin Xiaolong ran up to them. Brother, you're finally back. We were so worried. Lin Xiaolong let out a relieved sigh. His mother, Huang Jing, supported herself on the gate, her voice weak. You, child, never go out to gather herbs again. You never think about time. If something happens again, this family is finished. Mom, sis, I could come back before dark, but I met an old man with a white beard in the mountains. He said he could cure my illness, so I let him treat me. That's why I'm late. Lin Xiaolong casually made up an excuse. Brother, you can lie now. Lin Xiaolong laughed. But then she looked at Lin Xiaolong in surprise. Brother, what you just said doesn't sound like something a fool would say. Have you really recovered? Xiaolong, you're not stupid anymore. Wang Ju's voice trembled, full of excitement. My illness is completely cured. Mom, sis, I will never let you suffer again, Lin Xiaolong said firmly. Both Wang Ju and Lin Xiaolong were overwhelmed with joy and tears. Just from Lin Xiaolong's words, they could tell that he was really better. He was no longer the foolish boy who had been mocked and bullied. Is Xiaolong back? Just then, a voice from inside the house called anxiously. Quick, let us tell Dad the good news. Lin Xiaolong grabbed Lin Xiaolong and rushed into their house. No rush. Lin Xiaolong supported his mother, and the three of them went inside to tell his father, Lin Xiaolong. Once Lin Xiaolong heard and confirmed that his son had truly recovered, tears of joy flowed down his face. Despite the family's hardships, now that their son had returned to normal, there was finally hope for their future. It was already too late to continue the conversation. After chatting for a bit, Lin Xiaolong went to his room to rest. Since he had stayed up so late, Lin Xiaolong didn't wake up until well after the sun had risen the next day. When he got up, he found that his sister had already prepared breakfast, which had gotten a little cold. His parents were waiting for him in the living room, eager for him to wake up. They both knew that Lin Xiaolong's illness had been cured, and they were so excited they hadn't been able to sleep the whole night. "Where's sis?" Lin Xiaolong asked as he ate his noodles. To his surprise, there was an egg in his noodles. He knew that normally, his sister would never spare an egg for herself. "Sigh. It's all my fault. I've dragged my sister and this whole family down. Your sister finished making breakfast early and went to the orchard. The cherries are in the process of setting fruit. If we water them well now, they'll grow bigger and better. Your sister is working alone, poor girl," Huang Jing said with a look of concern. Lin Xiaolong felt guilty. In the past, he was a fool and couldn't help his sister at all. Now, even though he was better, he still woke up so late and ate the noodles his sister had made early in the morning. What kind of older brother was he? He quickly finished his noodles, stood up, and walked out. "Xiaolong, where are you going?" Huang Jing asked quickly. "I'm going up the mountain. I left some herbs there yesterday," Lin Xiaolong said as he walked out. Lin Xiaolong and Huang Jing exchanged a confused glance. Had their son really recovered? In fact, Lin Xiaolong was now capable of curing his parents' injuries. After all, the Shenong technique was deeply ingrained in his mind, and he could now treat all sorts of ailments. However, to cure his parents' injuries, he would need to use the Ghost Gate 18 needles from the Shenong technique, which required a rare herb. Lin Xiaolong clearly remembered that his herb basket had been stuck near the entrance of a cave on the cliff. Yesterday, it had been too late, and he didn't want to risk going back to get it. Today, he was determined to retrieve the herb and quickly cure his parents. Lin Xiaolong moved quickly. When he reached the mountain top and saw that no one was around, he found the iron chain hidden behind a large rock near the cliff and descended into the cave. Sure enough, his bamboo basket was still hanging on the vines nearby, and fortunately, the herb was still inside. Lin Xiaolong swung his body and grabbed the basket. Then, he entered the cave once again. Since it was dark when he had first entered, the visibility had been poor. But now, with the daylight, he was able to see more clearly. As he turned around, he made a new discovery. Where the jade statue had once been, there was a small jade bottle, about 2 centimeters long, faintly glowing with a green light. Lin Xiaolong picked up the jade bottle and noticed that there seemed to be some liquid inside, but he had no idea what it was. He casually slipped it into his pocket and continued exploring the cave, but didn't find anything else. "Master, rest in peace. I will carry forward your teachings and follow your instructions to punish the wicked and benefit the world." Lin Xiaolong bowed a few more times at the spot where the statue had once been and then exited the cave. He had initially thought his lips would still be swollen the next day, but perhaps because he had practiced the Longyang Gong, they had already healed by noon. As he walked past the widow Xiong Xiu's house on his way to the village, Xiong Xiu came out just as he passed. "Xiaolong, I was just about to look for you," Xiong Xiu said, smiling, as she blocked his path. "Xiong Xiu Jie, what do you need me for?" Lin Xiaolong wondered. Surely, she didn't want me to scratch her back now. After you left last night, I was really scared. I think we should put some glass on the walls to keep Liu Erhu from jumping over them again at night, Xiong Xiu said, her hand nervously patting her chest. Lin Xiaolong felt a little dry in his mouth. "Xiong Xiu Jie, you want me to help you with that?" "Yes, I don't trust anyone else. Don't you worry, they might bully me." Xiong Xiu looked at him with a pitiful expression. "All right, I'll help you with it after I'm done with what I need to do," Lin Xiaolong agreed. His most important task right now was to quickly heal his parents' injuries. Everything else could wait. Chapter 5 Debt Collection. It's a deal. I'll buy some delicious food this afternoon and have dinner at my place tonight. I'll thank you. Xiang Xiu happily twisted her waist and went home. Lin Xiaolong smiled helplessly and walked towards home immediately. When he was almost at the door of his house, Lin Xiaolong heard loud shouting, and then saw a lot of people gathered at the door. Oh no, did something happen at home? Lin Xiaolong ran quickly. At the door of Lin Xiaolong's house, Liu Erhu led a few young people who were painting dragons and tigers, shouting and yelling. It is only natural to pay back debts. Your family is in trouble, so you don't have to pay back. What are you thinking? Hey, it's okay if you don't pay back. Let this little sister go to my place to sing with me. She can make money by drinking a little wine. She can pay back all your debts in a year. That's right. This job is not tiring. Maybe if you serve her well, you can find a rich husband. Wouldn't your family be able to turn things around? I'm thinking about your family. Look at your ugly face. It's like forcing a good woman to become a prostitute. If you are so brave, just pay back the money. Lin Xiaolong had tears in her eyes at this moment, but she was gritting her teeth tightly. She was holding the arm of her father, who had crawled out of the house. Hearing that these people were going to take Xiaolong away, Lin Xiaolong climbed down from the bed in the house. Huang Jing was holding the door, tears streaming down her face. Give us a few more days. Our family really has no money. Huang Jing cried. That won't do. It's fine if you don't pay back the principal, but you don't even pay the interest. Are you going to leave us to starve? Liu Erhu waved his hand impatiently. Take Lin Xiaolong away. I found her such a good job, but she didn't thank me and kept crying. She really didn't know how to be kind. The thugs stepped forward to catch Lin Xiaolong. Lin Xiaolong screamed in fear. Lin Xiaolong on the ground suddenly took out a kitchen knife from his arms. Whoever dares to touch my daughter, I will fight him. Seeing Lin Xiaolong took out the kitchen knife, Liu Erhu smiled. Lin Xiaolong, you are playing this with me. If you have the guts, you can chop me. Can you reach my head? Liu Erhu stepped forward and kicked Lin Xiaolong's hand, and the kitchen knife flew out at once. Then, Liu Erhu kicked Lin Xiaolong twice again, almost knocking him unconscious. Don't touch my dad, you beasts. Lin Xiaolong was anxious, stepped forward and grabbed Liu Erhu's hand, and bit it directly. Arr! Liu Erhu screamed in pain, waved his hand, and was about to slap Lin Xiaolong. Snap! Before he could pull his hand away, he was suddenly grabbed. His wrist was in so much pain, as if it was clamped by a pair of pliers. Damn, who grabbed my hand? Liu Erhu turned his head and saw Lin Xiaolong's angry face. Rubbish! Lin Xiaolong snorted coldly and kicked him out. With a whoosh, Liu Erhu's huge body flew several meters away and fell heavily to the ground. The neighbors around were all shocked. When did this idiot become so powerful? Dad, are you okay? Lin Xiaolong stepped forward and held his father's arm. Xiaolong, they are going to take your sister away to the karaoke bar as a singing companion. Lin Xiaolong said angrily. Don't worry, Dad. They can't take Xiaolong away with me here. Damn it, this is outrageous. A stupid idiot dared to hit me. I haven't settled the score with you for what happened last night. Come on, beat him up like his dead father. I'll take responsibility if anything happens. Liu Erhu is a loan shark in the village. He has many friends and is very concerned about his reputation. Last night, he was beaten by Lin Xiaolong, and now he was kicked away by Lin Xiaolong in front of so many people. It would be strange if he didn't get angry. When the hooligans heard this, they immediately rushed towards Lin Xiaolong. Xiaolong, be careful. Huang Jing shouted worriedly. Humph, a bunch of trash, still trash. Lin Xiaolong didn't take these hooligans seriously at all. He didn't even move his hands. He kicked them away before they could get to him. The people around were shocked again, and Liu Erhu was also confused. Is this the stupidity of a fool? Lin Xiaolong, you have no shame, not paying back the money and beating people, okay? I don't believe there is no reason. Anyway, your family has mortgaged this broken house, move out today, otherwise I will go to court tomorrow. Although Liu Erhu wanted to kill Lin Xiaolong, he didn't bring any weapons today, and these people were no match for Lin Xiaolong, so he could only bring up the homestead. At the same time, he has decided to give Lin Xiaolong's family a good night tonight. Dad, how much money do we owe Liu Erhu? Lin Xiaolong asked his father Lin Xiaolong. In order to treat the illness of our family of 3, I used their homestead as collateral and borrowed 50,000 yuan from him. It's only been a year, and it has risen to 150,000. This is too black. When the people around heard it, they were all shocked. 50,000 turned into 150,000 in less than a year. It's so black-hearted. However, they dared not say a fair word, for fear of offending the gangster Liu Erhu. HMPH, I am not doing charity. Your family can't even pay the interest. This interest is compounded at 150,000 yuan. I still give your family less for the sake of our fellow villagers. Liu Erhu was proud. Isn't it awesome? I want to see what you, a fool, can do. I will pay you back within a week. Lin Xiaolong said calmly. Gar. Everyone was confused. This kid is really stupid. He actually said that he would pay back 150,000 yuan a week. Do you know what 150,000 yuan means? Don't say you are a fool. Even if Longyang Village is doing well, they dare not say that they can earn 150,000 yuan a year. If you earn 150,000 yuan a week, you have to earn more than 20,000 yuan a day. You are a big fool. You don't even have a place to earn $2 a day. Har har, har har, are you fucking going to make me die of laughter? You big fool. Liu Erhu laughed, and the ruffians laughed too, as if they had heard the funniest joke in the world. I said I'll pay you back within a week. Lin Xiaolong emphasized again. Xiaolong. Lin Xiaolong and Huang Jing quickly stopped him. Mom and Dad, don't worry, I can do what I said, believe me once. Lin Xiaolong promised. Alas. Lin Xiaolong sighed and said nothing. At this time, he couldn't be at odds with his son. Okay, what if you can't pay it back within a week? Liu Erhu asked. Then I'll give you my old house. Lin Xiaolong said. Okay, it's a deal. Although Liu Erhu looked down on Lin Xiaolong's old house, it was a homestead after all. If he really couldn't get the money back, he could only take the old house. Of course, there would be a discount at that time, and the remaining money would still have to be paid by Lin Xiaolong's family. We must make Lin Xiaolong's family bankrupt and have nowhere to go. When the time comes, Lin Xiaolong will have to go either way. This big idiot has never experienced the beating of society. Brothers, let's go. Liu Erhu sneered and left Lin Xiaolong's house with those ruffians. Chapter 6 Village Doctor Chen Ying. Alas! What a fool! Even people with formal jobs in the city can't make 150,000 yuan a year. 150,000 yuan a week, unless you go robbing money. The neighbors who watched the excitement all shook their heads and went home. Lin Xiaolong directly carried his father to the bed in the house, and Lin Xiaolong helped her mother into their house. Xiaolong, don't dare to say that. Lin Xiaolong sighed. Brother, you are too impulsive. 150,000 yuan. Where can you get so much money? Even if you sell the old house, you can't get more than a few tens of thousands of yuan. Lin Xiaolong felt wronged and wanted to cry. She was too tired. Huang Jing just cried there, she was desperate. Don't worry about this matter. I will find a way. Now, I will treat your injuries and illnesses. Lin Xiaolong said calmly. What? Lin Xiaolong touched her brother's head. Brother, you are not really stupid again, are you? Although you majored in medicine, you have only been in college for less than a year. You haven't learned much and have never treated patients clinically. Do you want to use your parents as guinea pigs? Xiaolong, the white-bearded old man who treated my stupidity yesterday, also taught me the magical medical skills of healing diseases and injuries, including leg injuries and cerebral hemorrhage. Can I try it? Lin Xiaolong said. Is it true? Brother, you are not suffering from paranoia again. Lin Xiaolong didn't believe it at all. No one would believe this kind of thing. You crush this herb first, I will use it later. Lin Xiaolong didn't explain any more, handed the precious herb to Lin Xiaolong, and then he went out. I'm going to borrow a pair of silver needles. The only female village doctor in the village clinic is called Chen Ying. Chen Ying is about 30 years old, with fair skin and beautiful appearance, like a peach, completely ripe. Lin Xiaolong arrived at the clinic and was about to go in when he heard Wang Chun's voice from inside. It has been itchy there recently, and there are some small blisters. Come into the inner room, I'll take a look for you. Chen Ying's voice. Damn. This is obviously syphilis. Wang Chun and the village chief Liu Dabiao are in love, so Liu Dabiao must have been infected by Wang Chun. But who infected whom is really hard to say. Lin Xiaolong quietly entered the outer room of the clinic and sat on a chair to wait. Suddenly, he found a mobile phone on the table, with Wang Chun's photo on the phone case. Lin Xiaolong couldn't help but pick it up curiously, but he didn't expect that the phone was unlocked. He couldn't help but look at Wang Chun's photo album as a prank, and he was shocked. There were several short videos of her and Liu Dabia fighting in the wild. This stinky woman, her husband works abroad, and she has cheated on her husband at home. Lin Xiaolong hates Wang Chun, not only because she and Liu Dabiao are in love, but also because she relies on being the village accountant to make things difficult for her family. His situation is not good. Xie Shua wanted her to help apply for a minimum living allowance last time, but she said that she needed to take care of it and asked her to give her 3,000 yuan. The family is so poor, where can she get 3,000 yuan for her, and the matter of the minimum living allowance is left unresolved. Thinking of this, Lin Xiaolong looked at the location of the phone storage, and it turned out that they were all on a separate memory card. Lin Xiaolong simply took out her memory card and hid it in his pocket. Then, he put the phone on the table for her. Just then, Chen Ying's voice came from inside. I can't treat your disease here, you should go to the county hospital for a checkup, and you should also call the people who had sex with you. If you have this disease, they must have it too. Oh, Dr. Chen, why are you talking like this? I only had sex with my husband, not with other people. Okay, this is not my business, go quickly. Chen Ying was a little impatient. Everyone knows that Wang Chun and Liu Dabiao are good friends, but she is still pretending here. Chen Ying hates this kind of woman the most. I'm telling the truth, don't talk nonsense, be careful, I'll sue you for defamation. Wang Chun even threatened Chen Ying. Is Sister Chen here? Lin Xiaolong shouted at the right time. Suddenly, there was no sound inside. Soon, Wang Chun and Chen Ying came out. When Wang Chun saw that it was Lin Xiaolong, he screamed as if he had seen a ghost. Accountant Wang, what's your name? It's not like you don't know Lin Xiaolong. Chen Ying asked with a frown. Lin Xiaolong, you. Wang Chun was really scared. Yesterday, Chen Xiaolong was clearly thrown into Longyang Lake by Liu Dabiao. How could he still be alive? But it was in broad daylight, it couldn't be a ghost. Wang Chun, you can actually see me. You shouldn't be able to see me because we are separated by yin and yang. It seems that you won't have many days left. Lin Xiaolong looked at Wang Chun expressionlessly and said dimly. Wang Chun screamed and ran out like crazy, shouting, Ghost, there is a ghost. Lin Xiaolong, what's going on? Chen Ying asked curiously. If you don't do bad things, you won't be afraid of ghosts knocking on your door in the middle of the night. She may have done too many bad things. Lin Xiaolong said with a smile. Huh? You can actually say such a thing. The sun is really rising from the west. Chen Ying was wearing a white coat, which made her look extremely attractive. She didn't expect that Lin Xiaolong didn't seem to be stupid today, but she didn't care. What are you doing here? Sister Chen, do you have silver needles? I want to borrow them. Lin Xiaolong stepped forward and said. I do have a pair, but what do you want to borrow silver needles for? Chen Ying asked curiously. She was quite familiar with Lin Xiaolong. She used to think that this young man had a promising future, was good looking, and was the only college student in the village, studying the same major as herself. But later, Lin Xiaolong became a fool less than a year after entering college. He often came to her to get medicine, but he was stupid every time and there was no hope of recovery. She could only sigh and lament that fate was unfair. Unexpectedly, Lin Xiaolong seemed to have a very clear mind today. Could it be that his stupidity was cured? Sister Chen, do I string mutton? Lin Xiaolong asked with a smile. Go to hell, I'm busy, I don't have time to argue with you, let's go. Chen Ying almost laughed out of anger. Sister Chen, don't be angry, I'm using it for acupuncture for my parents. Lin Xiaolong stopped joking. Acupuncture? I went to the provincial capital for further studies, and I usually don't dare to give acupuncture to others. This involves many acupuncture points, and it may cause death if you are not careful. You dare to say you give acupuncture to others? Chen Ying almost said the word idiot. Lin Xiaolong didn't care. Sister Chen, I'm not stupid now, and what I liked most when I was in school was acupuncture. I have some attainments in this area, don't worry. Are you really not stupid? Chen Ying asked in shock. Do you think I talk like a fool? Lin Xiaolong asked back. No, but I can't lend it to you. It's a matter of life and death, I'm worried. Chen Ying was still afraid of something going wrong. Then I'll have to buy it myself. It'll just take up some time. Lin Xiaolong said as he was about to get up and leave. Stop. Chen Ying suddenly blocked Lin Xiaolong's way. Chapter 7 Silver Needle Treatment. Lin Xiaolong was caught off guard and touched Chen Ying. Chen Ying and Lin Xiaolong were both stunned, and then Chen Ying's face turned red. Stinky boy, what are you doing? Chen Ying said coquettishly. Sister, I really didn't mean it. Did it hurt? Lin Xiaolong asked embarrassedly. Of course it hurts, with such a strong force. Chen Ying rolled her eyes at Lin Xiaolong. I can lend you the silver needles, but I want to go with you and supervise you. No problem. Lin Xiaolong said happily. Chen Ying took a pair of silver needles, closed the door of the clinic, and went to his home with Lin Xiaolong. Inside the village office, Wang Chun was holding Liu Dabiao's arm tightly, almost pinching Liu Dabiao's arm. Did you see it? Lin Xiaolong, it's really Lin Xiaolong. Isn't he dead? Is it a ghost who showed up to seek revenge on us? Liu Dabia looked at Lin Xiaolong and Chen Ying, who were walking away with a gloomy face, and shook off Wang Chun's hand. You are my accountant, how can you be so brave? Ghost, aren't you afraid? Wang Chun's voice was trembling. What's the fear? Have you ever seen a ghost come out in broad daylight to seek revenge? This is Lin Xiaolong, this fool is not dead. He is so tall and not dead. Humph, fools have foolish luck, but he is a fool, and no one will believe what he says, don't worry. Liu Dabia said indifferently. He is the village chief, and his brother Liu Erhu is a loan shark, a well-known gangster. In Longyang Village, no one can be the opponent of the two brothers. It would be fine if this fool didn't talk nonsense, but if he dared to talk nonsense, it would be like playing to kill him. Lin Xiaolong brought Chen Ying to his home very quickly. Lin Xiaoxing and Wang Ju were very embarrassed when they saw that even Chen Ying came. Because of the special situation of his family, he had troubled Dr. Chen Ying a lot. She took care of their family a lot and sometimes didn't charge them for medical expenses. Xiaolong said he wanted to give you acupuncture. I was worried, so I came to see you. Chen Ying said with a smile. Lin Xiaoxing and Wang Ju looked at each other and smiled bitterly. They didn't believe that their son could heal them, but in front of outsiders, they couldn't tear their son down. After all, their son was fine, and it would be troublesome if his old illness relapsed because of their distrust. As parents, children are the priority, so they can be guinea pigs. The silver needles are all sterilized. Lin Xiaolong said to his mother Wang Ju, Mom, you are sick, which is relatively easier to treat. Let's start with you. Xiaolong, are you really okay? Wang Ju was also worried. Don't worry, Mom, I'm sure. Lin Xiaolong assured. Then, he asked his mother to sit on a small chair and told her not to move. He took out the silver needle, looked at it for a while, and used his internal strength to quickly pierce his mother's head. Lin Xiaolong inserted the silver needle very quickly, unlike other acupuncture doctors who had to find the acupuncture points and then slowly twist them in. Every time Lin Xiaolong put the needle down, it was immediately inserted. The silver needle, as thin as a cow's hair, did not have any obstruction at all. Chen Ying, who was watching, was stunned. Lin Xiaolong actually knew acupuncture. Moreover, he was much better than her who had been specially trained in the provincial capital. He could identify the acupuncture points accurately and pierce them quickly. Just looking at this technique, it was better than the old Chinese doctor who trained her. But, I don't know how effective it is. Her attention shifted from Wang Ju's head to Lin Xiaolong. At this moment, he realized that Lin Xiaolong's energy was highly concentrated, and the sweat on his head rolled down, and his hair was sweating. Mom, how do you feel? Finally, Lin Xiaolong stopped. I feel a little numb on my head, but I don't feel anything else. Wang Ju said. Chen Ying was even more shocked. You know, with ordinary acupuncture, many people will feel numb and can't bear it. And Lin Xiaolong's acupuncture was just a little numb. This experience can be said to be an eye-opener for her. Now it's a critical moment, and a lot of blood will flow out. Mom, don't be afraid. Lin Xiaolong reminded. Don't worry, son, Mom is like this anyway. Even if she dies, it will only reduce the burden on you two brothers and sisters. Wang Ju said frankly. Mom, what are you talking about? Don't talk nonsense anymore. Lin Xiaoxue reminded, a little annoyed. Wang Ju smiled slightly and said nothing more. Lin Xiaolong picked up 2 silver needles and pierced directly into the side of the ear like a pair of wings. In a blink of an eye, the 2 silver needles had already been inserted into the acupuncture points behind Huang Ju's ears. Lin Xiaolong flicked his little finger lightly, and suddenly, a subtle buzzing sound was heard. Chen Ying was wondering how the 2 needles were crucial, and saw some black blood flowing out along the roots of the silver needles. Blood! Lin Xiaolong almost screamed. Sure, don't worry about it. Lin Xiaolong made a gesture to silence, and Lin Xiaolong immediately stopped. The blood flowed down the silver needles on both sides, and it took about 200 milliliters to stop. 2 pools of blood had appeared on the ground, which looked very scary. The room was silent, and everyone was stunned to watch all this, and their breathing almost stopped. Okay. After Lin Xiaolong finished speaking, he quickly started to remove the needles on his mother's head with both hands. In a blink of an eye, dozens of silver needles had been removed by him. As soon as the needles were removed, Huang Ju's body fell to one side. Lin Xiaolong and Lin Xiaolong quickly supported her. Mom, are you okay? Lin Xiaolong shouted worriedly. Mom is a little dizzy. Huang Ju did not faint, and she knew how to answer her daughter's words. Xiaolong, you got into trouble, so I know I shouldn't let you mess around. Chen Ying glared at Lin Xiaolong angrily and stepped forward to help check. Mom, don't move, take a rest first. Lin Xiaolong was very calm, supporting his mother's arm and said. Huh? Why do I feel much more comfortable, as if many places are unobstructed? Huang Ju said, and actually supported Xiaolong beside her and slowly stood up. Mom, be careful. Lin Xiaolong supported her mother worriedly. Don't support me, I feel like I'm fine. Huang Ju asked Lin Xiaolong to let go of her hand. Is it really possible? Lin Xiaolong let go of her hand, but still held it loosely, ready to support her mother at any time. Huang Ju tried to walk forward and was immediately pleasantly surprised. Lin Xiaoshan, Lin Xiaolong and Chen Ying on the side were all stunned. Because Huang Ju did not draw a circle this time, she walked just like a normal person, just moving forward directly. Moreover, she did not stop, but continued to walk forward. Lin Xiaolong and Lin Xiaolong supported her loosely on the side, and Huang Ju was basically walking by herself. It can't be said that she is exactly the same as a normal person, but it's not much different, just looking a little weak. Chapter 8 The beautiful doctor wants to become a disciple. Xiaolong, Mom is fine, Mom is really fine. Huang Ju cried with joy. Brother, you really know how to treat diseases, and it works immediately. Lin Xiaolong shouted excitedly. This is too magical. Chen Ying was shocked and unbelievable. Mom, you should take a rest first. I just used silver needles to open up your meridians. The disease should be cured, but there is still a process of adaptation and recuperation. Lin Xiaolong said. Good, great. Huang Ju listened to her son's words and sat down. Lin Xiaolong, are you okay? Why is your face so pale? Chen Ying suddenly looked at Lin Xiaolong and asked worriedly. Everyone realized that Lin Xiaolong was sweating and pale, as if his energy was seriously overdrawn. Brother, you should be tired, take a rest quickly. Lin Xiaolong hurried over to support her brother. Lin Xiaolong smiled slightly, I'm not that weak yet, but I really need to take a rest, otherwise I can't treat our father. Lin Xiaolong went straight to his room. No, I have to sleep, don't disturb me, wait until I have rested, and then treat our father. Okay, brother, you just take a rest, we will call you for dinner in the evening. Lin Xiaolong said. Seeing Lin Xiaolong enter her room, Lin Xiaolong said to Chen Ying, Sister Chen Ying, let's have dinner at our house tonight. We haven't thanked you enough for taking care of our family. Okay, but I'll eat whatever you usually eat. Don't buy food just because I'm here. Chen Ying said. She saw Lin Xiaolong's magical acupuncture today and was full of curiosity about him. She also wanted to see how Lin Xiaolong treated his father. Otherwise, she wouldn't have dinner at Lin Xiaolong's house. Don't worry, Sister Chen Ying. Lin Xiaolong was very happy and said to her parents, Mom and Dad, you have a good rest and talk to Sister Chen Ying. I'll go to the field to pick some vegetables. Lin Xiaolong returned to his room, not sleeping at all, but sitting cross-legged, and began to practice according to the secret of Longyang Gong. Lin Xiaolong had just treated his mother and penetrated his true power on the silver needle. Otherwise, it would be impossible to open up the meridians so quickly and let the blood stasis in his mother's brain dissolve and flow out. His current skill is only the first level of Longyang Gong. He used too much of his true power this time, so he almost collapsed. He can only recover his physical strength through practice before he can treat his father. Although the spiritual energy here is much less than that in the cave, it is still no problem to recover his physical strength. As he practiced, the spiritual energy around him quickly gathered towards him. And his physical strength was also recovering rapidly. It took 4 hours for Lin Xiaolong to recover completely and become energetic again. He got up and left the room, and his sister had just finished cooking dinner. Although Chen Ying told Xiexue to cook whatever she usually eats, Xiexue still went out to buy some ribs and made a portion of braised ribs. With the green vegetables grown at home, she ate with relish. After dinner, Lin Xiaolong decided to start treating his father. And Chen Ying stood aside again. She planned to take a closer look at how Lin Xiaolong treated his father. Lin Xiaolong's father didn't have a leg disease, but his legs were broken and he didn't get timely treatment. Lin Xiaolong can use acupuncture to treat diseases, but she thinks it's impossible to restore a broken leg through acupuncture. Lin Xiaolong first carefully checked his father, especially his broken leg, and touched it repeatedly for a long time, then he breathed a sigh of relief. It can be cured. That's great, Xiaolong, if I can stand up, our family will have more hope. Lin Xiaolong said excitedly. Brother, then you should treat our father quickly. Lin Xiaolong urged. Why are you panicking? Your brother knows. Huang Jing said with a smile. Xiaolong, bring the herbs I asked you to crush. Lin Xiaolong ordered. Here it is. Lin Xiaolong quickly brought the herbs that her brother asked her to crush, along with the stone mortar. Lin Xiaolong first dipped the silver needles in the herbal juice, and then began to acupuncture his father's legs. It was not that the broken parts of his father's legs were not properly connected, but that he did not seek medical treatment in time, and the recovery after the bone setting was not ideal. The key is that because of the delay, he did not rest in the hospital after the treatment, and was discharged directly, which caused the meridians in his legs to be injured and not recovered, which made him disabled and paralyzed in bed. Lin Xiaolong's main task is to repair his damaged meridians, and then use special prescriptions to make him recover quickly. If the treatment is proper, my father will be able to get up in about a week. He will be able to recover completely in about a month. The treatment of my father is a long process. It took more than 3 hours to complete the acupuncture. At this time, Lin Xiaolong appeared in the same state as when he finished treating his mother, with a pale face, weak breath, and sweating profusely. Dad, try to stretch your legs to see if you have any feeling. Lin Xiaolong said after removing the needle. Lin Xiaolong tried to stretch his legs, and the 2 legs that had been numb actually started to move, slowly stretched out, and then retracted, but the speed was very slow. But even so, Lin Xiaoshua's mother and daughter, Chen Ying and others were all stunned again. This is too magical. Let alone other things, just based on this magical medical skill, Lin Xiaolong will definitely have a bright future. That's good, Dad, if you are fine, stretch back and forth, it will help you recover. Tomorrow I will find a way to prescribe some medicine for you. You will be able to stand up in a week, and you will be able to recover safely in less than a month. Good, great, Xiaolong, you are really the pride of your parents. Brother, you are so awesome. Son, our family finally has hope. The family members were all excited and tears filled their eyes. Chen Ying, on the other hand, looked at Lin Xiaolong with admiration in her eyes. Xiaolong, your acupuncture is amazing. Can you teach me when you have time? She said this with a guilty conscience. After all, this magical acupuncture is definitely someone's specialty and will not be easily passed on. It was actually a bit too much to make this request. No problem, Sister Chen Ying, but I have to go back and rest now. I'm too tired. Lin Xiaolong stood up weakly. Well, it's too late. I have to go too. Chen Ying stood up and realized that it was already late at night. Chapter 9 Wang Chun's Test. The next day, Lin Xiaolong slept until after 9 in the morning before getting up. Yesterday, he used his true qi to clear the meridians for his parents, which made him, who was only at the first level of Longyang Gong, completely exhausted. Otherwise, he would definitely go to see Chen Ying off so late. After sleeping for such a long time, his spirit was restored. Lin Xiaolong practiced Longyang Gong for a while and then became energetic. He jumped up from the bed and came to the main room. He saw his mother walking slowly. Except for the speed, she was no different from ordinary people, while his father was lying on the bed, stretching his legs back and forth gently. The excitement on their faces was beyond words. The qualitative changes in their bodies gave them hope for life. Now they wish they could be as energetic as before and live a good life, and never let their two children suffer again. Xiaolong, how are you? Wang Ju asked her son distressedly. It's okay. Where's Xiexue? Lin Xiaolong found that his sister was not at home. I went to the cherry field. I'll go to the field to check. Lin Xiaolong turned and left. Hey, did you eat the noodles? Wang Ju shouted from behind. I'm not hungry. In a blink of an eye, Lin Xiaolong was out of the yard and headed straight for the cherry orchard at the foot of the mountain. The cherry orchard of Lin Xiaolong's family is in a good location, right next to a reservoir at the foot of the mountain. The water in this reservoir flows out of the Longyang Lake in the mountain, so this reservoir is called Longyang Reservoir. Outsiders who don't know think that Longyang Lake and Longyang Reservoir are the same thing, but they are not. The 5 acres of land in this place were contracted by Lin Xiaolong before the accident at home. Because of the superior location, the rent per acre was 1,000 yuan at that time, which was much higher than the price of 600 yuan per acre in other places. The contract was signed for 10 years at once. After buying it, Lin Xiaolong planted big cherries here. It has been 5 years now, and it is the peak fruit-bearing season. If Lin Xiaolong had not dropped out of school to take care of it, this cherry orchard would have been ruined. Fortunately, Xiaolong is hardworking and knowledgeable, and she takes good care of the cherry orchard. Now the cherries in this cherry orchard are the largest and ripen much earlier than those in other orchards. The earlier they ripen, the more valuable they are, and many people are jealous. At this moment, Xiaolong is watering the land in the cherry orchard. Looking at the big cherries on the cherry trees, Xiaolong's pretty face is full of smiles. If the weather is good, water it again. It is estimated that these cherries can be picked and sold in less than 3 days. This time, the cherries are sweet and look good, and it is estimated that they can be sold at a good price. Then the burden of repaying the debt will be reduced. Thinking of her brother's promise to raise 150,000 yuan within a week to repay the bully Liu Erhu, Xiaolong became worried again. How did my brother agree to pay back the 150,000 yuan within a week? That's 150,000 yuan, and you have to earn more than 20,000 yuan a day on average. In a place like Longyang Village, let alone earning 20,000 yuan a day, it would be good to save 20,000 yuan a year. Alas! Xiaolong sighed heavily. The burden of life made this beautiful girl taste the ups and downs of life too early. The cherries at home are so good, why are you still sighing? At this moment, a woman's voice sounded on the side of the road. Xiaolong looked over and saw the village accountant Wang Chun coming over, twisting and turning. Accountant Wang? Is there something wrong? Xiaolong asked. She actually hated this woman because her family was in a special situation. Some time ago, she wanted Wang Chun to help her family apply for a minimum living allowance, and she asked for 3,000 yuan, saying that she needed to be taken care of. Xiaolong still remembers her sarcastic voice, more than 2,000 yuan a year. It doesn't matter who gives it to. If you don't give them some money, why should they give it to you? If it's done, you can get your money back in a year and a half, not to mention that this application can be guaranteed for several years. Xiaolong was almost crying at that time. Where can her family get 3,000 yuan? Besides, isn't this the money that Wang Chun wants? The family is in such a difficult situation, but she dares to ask for a lot. This person is really black-hearted. However, no matter how much you hate this person, you can't show it. After all, he is an accountant, and you may need him for something in the future. Xiaolong, you are really stubborn. I heard that Erhu found a good job for you. You can make money by drinking and singing with people in the karaoke room in the town. It's not easier than making money by farming here. Look at your skin, it's tanned. Wang Chun said hypocritically. Accountant Wang, why don't you go? Xiaolong's words almost choked Wang Chun to death. Wang Chun frowned. If I wasn't an accountant in the village, I would really go. Then go, anyway I don't go to that kind of place. Xiaolong continued to water the land, too lazy to pay attention to people like Wang Chun. Wang Chun snorted in his heart, thinking that his family was poor and he was so ungrateful, he deserved to suffer. But she came here today for a purpose, so she didn't dare to turn her face away from Xieshua. She took 2 steps forward. Xieshua, I'm saying this for your own good. Since you don't want to go, we won't go. But I heard that your brother said he would pay back the 150,000 yuan he owed you within a week. That's 150,000 yuan. Where can he get so much money? He's bragging to the sky. Don't worry about it. At most, I'll give him my homestead and we'll all live in the shack here. Xieshua is a person with backbone. Although she also thinks her brother is too arrogant this time, she will never say anything bad about her brother in front of outsiders. But it's true. Your brother is not smart. It's not surprising that he dares to say such big words. Wang Chun sighed and said, My brother is fine now. Besides, outsiders don't need to worry about my family's affairs. Xieshua walked away with a shovel. TSK. Little bitch, you actually turned your face away from me. You really don't know how to appreciate me. Although she said so, Wang Chun still left in a hurry. She came here to test whether Lin Xiaolong was really well. Yesterday, many people in the village said that Lin Xiaolong's brain was well, but she didn't believe it. But today, Lin Xiaolong personally confirmed it, which made her worried immediately. If Lin Xiaolong's brain is really well, it's not a good thing. She must tell Liu Dabiao as soon as possible and find a way to shut him up. Lin Xiaolong came just after Wang Chun left. Seeing Wang Chun hurriedly leaving his cherry farm, Lin Xiaolong's face instantly became gloomy. What is this stinky woman doing here? She must have no good intentions. I must ask Xieshua later, don't let this woman dig any holes for the family. Chapter 10 Spiritual Liquid. Lin Xiaolong entered the cherry farm and saw his sister sweating profusely, and he felt distressed. Brother, why are you here? Xieshua smiled immediately when she saw her brother. My brother is well, and my parents will soon be able to recover. Lin Xieshua has never felt that life is so full of hope. Xieshua, let me do it. You go home and rest. Lin Xiaolong stepped forward and said. Brother, what are you talking about? This is not a word of tiredness. Besides, you have just recovered. You need to rest well. I don't want you to go back to the way you were before. Lin Xieshua was really worried that her brother's recovery was temporary. Don't worry, brother is completely recovered. I will never let you be bullied by others again with me at home. Also, you should prepare for the next 2 days and go back to school. You may need to make up for your homework. I won't go. Lin Xieshua hesitated and said. Xieshua, you must go to school. Your grades are so good. It's a pity not to go. Don't worry about the tuition. I will find a way. Lin Xiaolong promised. Brother, how can you find a way? You have to pay 150,000 yuan a week. Let alone a family like ours, even Liu Erhu can't make 150,000 yuan a week. Lin Xieshua said, and became worried again. Don't worry about this matter, I have my own way. Lin Xiaolong gently patted his sister's shoulder. Don't worry about these things in the future, I'm here. Yeah. Although it felt that her brother was still bragging, Lin Xieshua still felt much more at ease. After all, everything at home is developing in a good direction now. At worst, they can really move into the shack in the Cherry Row. As long as the family is healthy, everything will be fine. By the way, Xieshua, what is Wang Chun doing here? Lin Xiaolong asked. Who knows what's wrong with her? Lin Xieshua repeated what Wang Chun said when she came over just now to her brother. Just ignore this kind of person in the future. After listening to this, Lin Xiaolong already understood what Wang Chun was doing here. It's nothing more than being afraid that he would tell their ugly deeds. Humph, this matter can be used well. Lin Xiaolong wanted his sister to go home and rest, but Xieshua refused, so Lin Xiaolong did not insist and wandered around the field to look at the cherries. I have to say that his sister is really capable. Although she takes care of the 3 sick people at home, the cherry trees here are planted very well. The fruits on the trees are obviously more and larger than those in other people's fields. At this time, cherries have not yet been put on the market in large quantities. Whoever's cherries are on the market first, the price will definitely be much higher than the usual price. I heard that some places grow cherries in greenhouses, which are more than a month earlier than ordinary cherries. This kind of cherries are generally used to entertain guests or give gifts, and can be sold for 70 or 80 yuan per kilogram. Unfortunately, the cost of building a greenhouse is very high, and no one in Longyang Village dares to take this risk. Now, of course, whoever puts the fruit on the market earlier and has better fruits can make a lot more money than others. Lin Xiaolong suddenly remembered the small jade bottle he found in the cave yesterday. He took it out and looked at it. The green liquid inside seemed to be a little more than when he picked it up yesterday. What is this? Lin Xiaolong couldn't help but curiously pull out the stopper on it. As soon as he pulled it out, a strong spiritual energy-like substance emanated from it. Is the liquid inside spiritual liquid? Lin Xiaolong was afraid that the spiritual energy would be wasted, so he quickly plugged it back in. This spiritual energy is simply too abundant. He can make good use of the spiritual energy of the spiritual liquid in the evening to practice Longyang Gong. Lin Xiaolong was delighted, and suddenly, a strange idea appeared in his mind. This thing is very useful for his practice of Longyang Gong. It is definitely a good thing. If it is used on this cherry tree, I wonder if it will work. Thinking of it, Lin Xiaolong found the largest cherry tree and poured a drop of the spiritual liquid in the jade bottle into the water under the tree. Let's see. It would be best if it works. If it doesn't work, there is no need to waste such a precious thing. Brother, what are you doing? At this moment, Xie voice came from not far away. I'm here. Lin Xiaolong agreed. Lin Xiaolong came over. After watering, brother, let's go home. So soon? Well, our land is in the best location, close to Longyang Reservoir, and it is most convenient to water the land. Many people are jealous. While talking, the two walked out. Inside the village office, Wang Chun came to Liu Dabiao's office. Immediately turned around and closed the door, and locked it from the inside. Chunner, what's the matter? Do you want to have an exciting time in the office? Liu Dabiao asked with a grin. Brother Biao, it's already this time, why are you still joking like this? What's wrong? Is the sky falling? Brother Biao, I went to Lin Xiaolong to ask about it today. Lin Xiaolong, the big fool, is really well. What should I do? If he was a fool, no one would believe what he said, but now he is well. If he tells others, others will definitely believe it. Wang Chun said in a panic. Liu Dabia frowned, and after a while he gritted his teeth and said, Don't worry, he doesn't dare to say anything. This Longyang village is under the control of Liu Dabiao. Even if he tells others about our affairs, it will not do him any good. What's more, he has no evidence. If he dares to talk nonsense, I dare to let the police station come and arrest him directly, and charge him with defamation and rumor mongering. That's right, Brother Biao, you are still the backbone. If he is a fool, he may still talk nonsense. Now he is not a fool anymore, and there is no evidence, so he should not dare to say anything. Wang Chun said with sudden realization. Hey, isn't that worth celebrating? Liu Dabia stood up and hugged Wang Chun. Don't, Brother Biao, it's been itching there lately. Chen Ying said it's syphilis. Let's wait and see. Wang Chun said worriedly. Damn, I didn't feel anything until you said it, but now I'm itching too. Did you mess around outside? Liu Dabia also felt the same way recently, but he messed around a lot in the karaoke room opened by his brother Liu Erhu in town. He must have contracted the disease there, and he didn't dare to tell Wang Chun. Now that Wang Chun took the initiative to talk about it, Liu Dabiao immediately blamed her. Brother Biao, don't frame me. You're the only man besides Datu. How could I have contracted it? Wang Chun said aggrievedly. If it's not you, then is it still me? Liu Dabia said unhappily. Could it be Datu? Wang Chun said, since I got together with you, I rarely let him touch me. He wouldn't go out to find a wild woman, right? Yes, it's very likely. You must not let him touch me in the future. Don't worry, we are playing our own games now, and no one will interfere with each other. Chapter 11 Going into the mountains to collect herbs. The key is what to do with this disease. Wang Chun was really afraid that Chen Ying would spread it. If he got this disease, he really couldn't survive in Longyang Village. Take some time to go to the city hospital for a checkup. There are not many acquaintances there, so we don't have to worry about being found out. Liu Dabia was also very troubled. After all, he was the head of the village. If people knew about it, he would lose face as the village head. That's great. As soon as possible. I can't stand it anymore. Let's go this afternoon. Let's find a hotel to stay in the evening and check it out tomorrow. Okay. In the afternoon, Lin Xiaolong gave his parents another massage, and then went out to prepare to go into the mountains. After promising to pay Liu Erhu 150,000 within a week, the only solution Lin Xiaolong could think of now was to go into the mountains to collect herbs. Before, he was a fool and couldn't tell what the real precious herbs were. But now it's different. He has the blessing of Shinong's technique. If there are those precious herbs that have been aged, he can definitely identify them. Not to mention other things, if you can find a ginseng or Ganoderma lucidum that is hundreds of years old in the mountains, you can sell it for the money, and it is very likely that there will be surplus. After all, there are many rich people now. With a lot of money, the most feared thing is that people die without spending the money. Therefore, they attach great importance to their health. No matter whether those precious medicinal materials can really help them prolong their lives, they are willing to spend a lot of money. As soon as they walked to the village head, they were stopped by the pretty widow Xiangxiu. Xiangxiu was angry and looked at Lin Xiaolong angrily. Xiaolong, why don't you keep your promise? Sister, I'm sorry, I came to treat my parents yesterday afternoon and forgot about your matter. Lin Xiaolong was reminded by Xiangxiu, and then he remembered that he promised to help Xiangxiu fix the glass on the wall. Then what are you doing now? Xiangxiu asked. If Lin Xiaolong came to help her this afternoon, she would not be angry, but Lin Xiaolong looked like he was just passing by here. I'm going into the mountains to collect herbs. Lin Xiaolong felt a little embarrassed, as if he had let Xiangxiu down. When will I get the glass done? Xiangxiu asked angrily. Lin Xiaolong touched his nose. Forget it, I won't go to collect herbs, I'll get it done for you first. That's better. Xiangxiu immediately smiled happily. Come, I've prepared some watermelon for you, eat some watermelon first and then work, I've prepared other materials for you. Entering the yard, Xiangxiu took out the watermelon that had been frozen in the cellar and cut a few pieces of watermelon for Lin Xiaolong to eat. Lin Xiaolong was not polite. After eating a few pieces of watermelon, he started to work. It's nothing more than mixing cement and sand together, then using a shovel to put it on the top of the wall, and then putting the broken glass shards on the top of the wall, and the job is done. The previous Lin Xiaolong was stupid and couldn't do this kind of work at all. Now Lin Xiaolong is strong and smart, so this kind of work is naturally no problem. Besides, there was the pretty widow Xiangxiu helping him, wiping Lin Xiaolong's sweat with her fragrant handkerchief from time to time, which made Lin Xiaolong more motivated. While he was working, Liu Erhu and two hooligans came in. Seeing that it was Lin Xiaolong who helped Xiangxiu fix the glass on the wall, Liu Erhu sneered. Xiangxiu, who are you guarding against? To guard against wild dogs. Xiangxiu rolled her eyes at Liu Erhu and said. When Lin Xiaolong heard this, he immediately laughed. Sister Xiangxiu's words were so vivid. Boy, what are you laughing at? This is the second day. There are less than 6 days left for the 150,000 yuan. If you can't pay it back by then, your homestead will be mine. When Liu Erhu saw Lin Xiaolong now, he wanted to cripple him. This little bastard is not stupid now. He first ruined himself and Xiangxiu and beat him up. The next day at noon, he beat himself and several younger brothers in front of his house, making him lose face. If it wasn't for getting his homestead, and getting Xiangxiu to sing with him in his practice room, he would have found someone to kill him that night. Now this guy is actually helping Xiangxiu to fix glass on the wall. Isn't this targeting me? What a fool. Don't worry, I won't give you a penny less of the money I owe you. If you want to take my homestead, just give up on this idea. Lin Xiaolong said bluntly. Okay, then I'll wait for your 150,000 yuan. Liu Erhu snorted coldly and left with his men. In fact, he really wanted to beat up Lin Xiaolong in front of Xiangxiu. But he didn't dare. Lin Xiaolong's skills were very good. He was afraid that he couldn't beat Lin Xiaolong, but would be beaten by Lin Xiaolong again. That would be even more embarrassing. Xiaolong, you really promised to give this bastard 150,000 yuan a week. Xiangxiu was so surprised that she couldn't close her mouth. Sister Xiangxiu, don't worry, I have a way. Lin Xiaolong said with a smile. Oh, you are really crazy, 150,000 a week, you are dreaming. Xiangxiu was speechless and didn't know what to say. Lin Xiaolong smiled and continued to work. I have saved more than 2,000 yuan here, you can take it later. Xiangxiu said. No, I can find a way myself. Lin Xiaolong said. You are really a person, why are you being polite to me? It's not that I don't need you to pay it back. Xianxiu hit Lin Xiaolong and said. It's not a question of whether I will pay it back or not, but I really don't need it. As he spoke, Lin Xiaolong quickly fixed all the glass. It took less than 2 hours. Xianxiu didn't expect Lin Xiaolong to work so efficiently, and quickly cut the remaining watermelon for Lin Xiaolong to eat. After Lin Xiaolong finished eating, he saw that it was still early and decided to continue to go into the mountains to collect herbs. Xiaolong, I'll go with you and help you. Sister Xianxiu, forget it. It's very hot on the mountain, and there are mosquitoes. You're so beautiful, don't stare at your face. Lin Xiaolong said with a smile. You did it on purpose, am I that spoiled? Xianxiu didn't say anything, changed into a neater outfit, and followed Lin Xiaolong. Lin Xiaolong knew that Xianxiu wanted to be alone with him, so he didn't refuse her. As soon as the two set out on the road, 2 people followed them stealthily. They were Liu Dahu's 2 lackeys Erlai and Santuzi. Liu Erhu wanted the two to catch Lin Xiaolong and Xianxiu's handle and force Xianxiu to surrender. However, as soon as the two followed, they were discovered by Lin Xiaolong. Lin Xiaolong pretended not to see the two, and went into the mountain with Xianxiu, talking and laughing. Xiaolong, are you looking for that kind of precious herb and want to sell it to pay off your debt? Xianxiu asked as they walked. Sister, you are really smart. Is there any other way? But this method is too unreliable. You need to try your luck to find that kind of precious herb. You may encounter it once, or you may never encounter it in your whole life. It's almost like buying a lottery ticket. Xianxiu was a little speechless. Don't worry, my luck is pretty good recently. Let's not talk about that for now. I saw a big beehive in the mountains a few days ago. It was bigger than a wash basin. If I can get it and sell it for honey, it's probably worth a few dollars. Xianxiu said. Lin Xiaolong's eyes lit up. Where is it? Take me there. Chapter 12 Picking Beehives. It takes a lot of effort to find precious and rare herbs. But this beehive that is bigger than a wash basin is ready-made. Other people don't dare to poke a hornet's nest, but it doesn't mean that Lin Xiaolong doesn't dare to do it either. It's on the edge of a cliff in the mountains. Last time I looked, it was full of poisonous mountain wasps. I was so scared that I didn't dare to move. If I was really besieged by mountain wasps, I might be stung to death. Xianxiu said fearfully. Don't worry, Sister Xianxiu, I'm here, I can't sting you. Lin Xiaolong smiled. Do you have a way? Xianxiu asked happily. Lin Xiaolong smiled and said, mountain people have their own tricks. With Xianxiu pointing the way, the two soon arrived at the bottom of the cliff. This cliff is more than 30 meters high, and the wasp nest is more than 20 meters high. This location is very well chosen. With the steepness and danger of this cliff, no one dares to go up to collect this huge beehive. Lin Xiaolong looked at the large beehive with a diameter of nearly 1 meter, and his heart was full of joy. This beehive can be seen from below, with a golden color inside, and some of the honey inside has flowed out. If I pick it, I can sell it for a few thousand yuan, no problem. After all, this is a pure natural and pollution-free mountain wasp hive, and the honey in it is more valuable than the honey of artificially cultivated bees. Seeing someone below constantly looking up, the mountain wasps above have become alert, as if they will attack the invaders at any time. Xiaolong, if you want to get it down, you must wear thick clothes to prevent stings. Xianxiu pulled Lin Xiaolong's hand and said. The villagers don't have professional equipment to collect beehives, so they can only use this stupid method. It's a pity that in this hot summer, the two of them are wearing short sleeves on their upper body, let alone thick clothes. Don't worry, I have a way. As Lin Xiaolong said, he inadvertently glanced at Erlai and Santuzi hiding in the bushes not far away. Then, he pulled Xianxiu's hand. Come on, sister, let's go over there and take a look. As he said, the two of them had already gone around behind a big rock on the side. Erlai and Santuzi hid in the wormwood bushes, and their bodies were covered with mosquitoes. Soon, they had several big lumps on their hands and faces. Damn, they bit me to death. Erlai almost reached out to hit them, but fortunately he was caught by Santuzi. Don't alert the snakes. Brother Tiger is afraid that the two of them will do something reckless in this mountain. It's impossible. They will be eaten by mosquitoes. Santuzi jumped out of the bushes and followed. Not necessarily, a ventilated place will do. That's right. At the critical moment, you can still care about whether there will be mosquito bites. The two dirty guys followed behind, ready to take action at the critical moment. Lin Xiaolong pulled Xiangxiu around behind the stone, circled around, and came around from another small road. Then, he started looking for something on the ground. Xiaolong, what are you looking for? Xiangxiu asked curiously. Nature is about the harmony of yin and yang. Wherever there are poisons, there will be a miraculous detoxification drug. This is what I'm looking for. Lin Xiaolong explained while searching carefully. Xiangxiu blushed when she heard Lin Xiaolong talking about the harmony of yin and yang. You little brat, you also know about the harmony of yin and yang, but you are like a wooden man and don't understand what I mean. Just now I thought you were going to lead me to do something, which made me nervous for a long time. Sister, I found it. Lin Xiaolong squatted down excitedly on the edge of a stone not far below the cliff. He saw that on the edge of the stone, there were clusters of green and black plants growing. The leaves were very thick, as if juice was about to drip out of them. What is this? Xiangxiu also squatted down. This is a plant that can make mountain wasps dare not approach. The smell of the liquid inside will make mountain wasps flee. Lin Xiaolong said. He had already pinched the leaves of these plants, and then squeezed them hard with his hands, and streams of dark green liquid squeezed out from between his fingers. He immediately smeared the liquid on his body. Soon, he was covered with this liquid all over his body, and the whole person turned dark green. A strange and indescribable smell permeated the air. Sister, you have to do this too, otherwise the mountain wasps will only attack you. Lin Xiaolong said, and began to apply this dark green liquid to Xiangxiu. Of course, he only helped Xiangxiu apply it on the visible parts of her arms, neck and face. As for other places, Xiangxiu had to do it herself. In a blink of an eye, both of them turned into green monsters. Xiangxiu looked at Lin Xiaolong, then looked at herself, and couldn't help laughing. Will this work? Believe me, it will definitely work. Lin Xiaolong pulled Xiangxiu to the bottom of the beehive. When the two arrived under the beehive, as expected, as if they smelled an unbearable smell, the mountain wasps fled madly in all directions. In a blink of an eye, there was not even a single mountain wasp on the beehive. However, these mountain wasps did not fly far away. They were all flying and circling in the distance where they could tolerate the strange smell. They felt that someone was interested in their mother nest, and they became very manic. There is no time to lose, let's do it now. Lin Xiaolong took out a long rope from the bamboo basket he was carrying, swung it a few times below, and threw it to a big tree on the cliff. One end of the rope was wrapped around the tree for several circles before it stopped. Lin Xiaolong tried it and was able to bear his own weight. He then grabbed the rope and climbed up the cliff. Xiaolong, be careful. Xiangxiu didn't expect Lin Xiaolong to be so fierce. He climbed as fast as a monkey. She was so scared that she covered her mouth and didn't dare to breathe. Lin Xiaolong is now at the first level of Longyang Gong. It is no problem for him to climb such a low cliff with the help of a rope. A dozen seconds later, he was already in front of the beehive. Then, he grabbed the rope with one hand and took out a machete from the bamboo basket with the other hand to chop the beehive at the root. He was very good at grasping the measure. When it was almost done, he directly pulled the beehive down and put it in the bamboo basket behind him. However, even though he was prepared, he was still shocked by the weight of the beehive. He almost fell down accidentally. If he fell to the ground and broke into pieces, it would be worthless. Lin Xiaolong climbed the rope and slid down quickly. At this time, Xiangxiu breathed a sigh of relief. Xiaolong, is it done? It was originally thought that the problem was more difficult than climbing to the sky, but Lin Xiaolong solved it so easily, which was incredible. It's done, let's go quickly. Lin Xiaolong laughed. Xiaolong, you are so amazing, I admire you so much, you are awesome. Xiangxiu couldn't help shouting. Not far away, Alliance and 2Z, who were looking for the two people everywhere, heard Xiangxiu's cry, looked at each other, and immediately ran towards the two people. Damn it. This is awesome, it seems that Brother Hu's worry has come true. Lin Xiaolong heard the voices of the two people, pulled Xiangxiu up and left. At the same time, the mountain wasps not far away saw that their mother nest was cut down by someone, and they were like crazy, chasing after the two people. However, they didn't dare to really catch up, because they couldn't stand the smell at all. Then, Alliance and 2Z ran over. With a buzzing sound. A swarm of mountain hornets pounced towards the two of them. Chapter 13 Eye-popping. The mountain wasps were afraid of the smell of that plant, so they didn't dare to attack Lin Xiaolong and Xiangxiu. Now that Erlai and Santuzi suddenly appeared, who else would the mountain wasps seek revenge on? Suddenly, the black mountain wasps directly surrounded Erlai and Santuzi. Lin Xiaolong and Xiangxiu walked out not far, and heard the desperate screams of Erlai and Santuzi from behind. What's going on? Xiangxiu didn't notice the two people at all. When she heard the screams from behind, she immediately asked Lin Xiaolong worriedly. She was a very kind woman. If the mountain wasp stung others because of the two of them, she couldn't bear it. As soon as we entered the mountain, Liu Erhu's men Erlai and Santuzi followed us. I guess the mountain wasps didn't dare to do anything to us, so we fought with them. Lin Xiaolong said with a smile. They are so unlucky. Hearing that it was Erhu's men, Xiangxiu immediately covered her mouth and laughed. If it was someone else who was implicated by her, Xiangxiu would feel sorry for them. But Liu Erhu's men, that's another story. It can only be described in 2 words. It's what they deserve. The two of them got such a big wild beehive today, and the most important thing is to get it home quickly. Lin Xiaolong is very fast. If Xiangxiu can't walk, Lin Xiaolong will directly hold her hand and walk. Around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they arrived at Xiangxiu's house. Sister Xiangxiu, what should we do with this beehive? Although it was Lin Xiaolong who got it down, Lin Xiaolong still asked Xiangxiu for advice. After all, it was Xiangxiu who led him to find this big beehive. You got this treasure down, of course it's yours. Xiangxiu said. Lin Xiaolong shook his head. Sister Xiangxiu, I can't find it without you. Xiangxiu knew that Lin Xiaolong would never take it for himself, so she said, then you decide. I mean, we both keep a little for ourselves to eat. After all, the wild bee honey is hard to buy even if you pay. I'll take the rest to the city to sell, and we'll split the money. Equally is not okay, we'll split it 20-80, I'll split 20-80, or I won't take it. Xiangxiu said firmly. But Lin Xiaolong wanted to argue. No buts, it's okay, if it's not, I won't take it at all. Okay. Lin Xiaolong had to agree. Lin Xiaolong first cut off a piece of honeycomb for Xiangxiu, and then took the rest of the big honeycomb back home. When his parents and sister saw that Lin Xiaolong had gotten such a big wild beehive, they were all surprised, but they were also very happy. Lin Xiaolong cut off another piece of honeycomb that was about the same size as Xiangxiu's, and put the rest of the honeycomb away. The next morning, Lin Xiaolong did not go directly to the county town to sell wild beehives, but came to the cherry orchard. He wanted to see if there were any changes to the cherry tree that was dripped with spiritual liquid yesterday. He did not hold much hope, but when he arrived at the cherry tree, Lin Xiaolong was shocked by the scene in front of him. Is this still the cherry tree in his home? The cherries that were only slightly red yesterday have now turned purple and red, and they seem to be bigger than before. The cherries in his home have been growing well under the care of his sister. Now, they are as big as plums. It can be said that Lin Xiaolong has never seen such a big and tempting cherry since he grew up. Just don't know how it tastes. Lin Xiaolong couldn't wait to pick one and put it in his mouth. When he took a bite, the fragrance was overflowing, and a sweetness comparable to wild honey filled his entire mouth. The cherry flesh is even softer and more elastic, and the taste is amazing when you eat it. Oh my god! This is so delicious! Lin Xiaolong almost jumped up with excitement. At this time, cherries are not on the market yet. If you take these cherries out to sell, the price may not be as high as the cherries in the greenhouse more than a month ago. However, it should be no problem to sell this pound for 40 or 50 yuan. Lin Xiaolong looked at the cherries on the tree and ran home immediately. Xiaoxue, come out quickly! Lin Xiaolong shouted as soon as he entered the house. What's wrong? Brother! Lin Xiaoxue ran out of the main room quickly, with a worried look on her face. She thought something had happened again. This family had just improved and was developing in a good direction. She was really afraid that something would happen again. It's okay. There's a cherry tree at home with ripe cherries. Come with me to pick some. I'll take the cherries and honeycombs to the city to sell. Lin Xiaolong saw his sister's face and immediately knew that his sister had misunderstood, so he quickly made it clear. I'm scared to death. Lin Xiaoxue patted her chest, but then asked curiously, Brother, are you dazzled? I just watered it yesterday, and I didn't see any tree that would ripen so quickly. You'll know if you come with me to see it. Hurry up and take something to hold the cherries. The two of them carried more than a dozen plastic buckets of cherries and walked quickly to the cherry orchard. Along the way, Lin Xiaolong didn't believe it, and always felt that her brother was dazzled. But when she arrived at the cherry orchard and saw the cherry tree, Lin Xiaolong was shocked. She was so surprised that she couldn't close her mouth, and her face was incredible. This. How is it possible? Even if it is ripe, it can't be so exaggeratedly ripe. The cherries on this tree are not only a whole circle larger than those on other trees, but also ripe purple and red, which makes people salivate. Brother, what's going on? Lin Xiaolong asked in surprise. Brother secretly applied some fertilizer to this tree yesterday. Lin Xiaolong has already started picking. What fertilizer? This is amazing. Tell me quickly so that I can buy more and put it under other trees. Lin Xiaolong said excitedly. I am the only one who has this fertilizer. Don't worry about it. Pick the cherries quickly. After picking, I can sell them quickly. Lin Xiaolong ordered. Okay, brother. Lin Xiaolong didn't ask any more questions and went forward to pick cherries with her brother. While picking, a slight footstep sounded not far away. Since Lin Xiaolong practiced Longyang Gong, his body's sensory sensitivity has been several times stronger than before. Hearing the footsteps, he immediately looked in the direction of the sound, but did not find anyone coming. His brows furrowed, and he shouted, "Who's over there?" Brother, how can there be anyone else in our garden? Lin Xiaolong asked curiously. Lin Xiaolong shook his head at his sister, and nodded his chin slightly towards the distance, meaning that someone was hiding over there. Lin Xiaolong looked over, but still didn't find anyone. If you don't come out, I'll hit you with a stone. Lin Xiaolong said loudly. As soon as the voice fell, a woman's voice rang out, "Oh, Xiaolong, it's me, your aunt." Then, a fat woman's figure appeared in front of the two. It was none other than their Aunt Wang Yanhong. Chapter 14. Surrounded by female comrades. Seeing Wang Yanhong, the brother and sister frowned. The relationship between Lin Xiaolong's family and his uncle's family has always been bad, mainly because of the instigation of this aunt named Wang Yanhong. Lin Xiaolong's cousin Lin Yongxiang was admitted to a junior college, which was incomparable to Lin Xiaolong's key undergraduate. This made Wang Yanhong very jealous. She would gossip everywhere, saying that Lin Xiaolong got admitted by copying other people's answers, while her son got admitted by relying on real ability. However, this kind of talk was just to fool those ignorant gossipers, and few people believed her. After Lin Xiaolong was beaten into a fool and dropped out of school, she was even more excited, telling everyone that Lin Xiaolong did bad things in school and broke his brain, and was expelled from school. Moreover, after Lin Xiaolong's family suffered, he instigated his uncle to stop associating with Lin Xiaolong's family, fearing that he would implicate his family. With her character, Lin Xiaolong and his sister were too lazy to pay attention to her. Unexpectedly, she actually ran to their own fields today. Naturally, Lin Xiaolong would not give her a good face. How could I not know that I still have an aunt? Lin Xiaolong said coldly. Oh, you kid, what are you talking about? You don't look like someone who has been to school. Wang Yanhong said as she walked forward. No, I've dropped out of school. If you have something to say, tell me now. We're busy and don't have time to talk nonsense with you. Lin Xiaolong said unhappily. What are you busy with? I saw you guys came here with buckets early in the morning, and the cherries are not ripe yet. Wang Yanhong didn't stop and walked to the front in a few steps. Then, she opened her mouth and eyes wide, and was stunned there. Oh my god! Oh my god! Is this a cherry tree? It can't be a plum tree. She didn't believe what she saw at all. She rubbed her eyes while talking, thinking that she was seeing things. But no matter how she rubbed, she still saw a tree full of purple and red cherries, big cherries that made people want to drool. Whether it's cherries or plums, it's none of your business. Go away and don't delay our work. Lin Xiaolong ordered her to leave. No wonder Wang Yanhong came to her cherry orchard. It turned out that she saw her sister and she came into the orchard with buckets. Yes, other people's cherries are not ripe yet, but she came to pick cherries with buckets. With her curiosity, it would be strange if she didn't come to see. Xiaolong, why are you chasing me away? What kind of cherry is yours? How come it's so big and so ripe? While talking, she picked a cherry and put it in her mouth to eat. After taking a bite, she screamed in surprise, "Oh my god! It's so delicious! You've seen it and eaten it, go away quickly." Lin Xiaolong ordered her to leave again. "No, you haven't told me what kind of cherry this is. Xiaolong, I am your aunt after all. Tell me, in the future, only our two families will have this kind of cherry, so won't we make a fortune?" After eating a cherry, Huang Jing was envious. This kind of cherry is definitely a hot commodity in the market. Even if the price is twice as high as other cherries, there will definitely be people scrambling for it. After all, there is no shortage of rich people in this society. If my family's cherry orchard is full of this kind of cherry in the future, I will definitely make a fortune. It's the same variety as the others. I don't know what happened this year. It's so big and ripe so early. Lin Xiaolong was a little shy after all. She was embarrassed to chase her away like her brother did, so she just told her the truth and let her give up the idea. It's impossible. Wang Hongyang didn't believe it at all. You don't believe it? If I have this special variety, why would I plant other ones? Besides, this tree has been planted for 5 years. It has never been like this before. Lin Xiaolong said. Wang Yanhong thought so too. She had never seen this variety before. Maybe it really mutated. Her face immediately drooped and she pouted. "I thought your family got some new variety." "No, you are happy now, right? Aren't you our aunt? You see my parents are not in good health, can you help us pick the cherries?" Lin Xiaolong said. "TSK. How can I have the time? You sell the money but don't give me a penny." Wang Yanhong saw that a junior was actually asking her to work, and immediately revealed her previous mean face. After saying this, she turned around and walked away with a bucket waist. "Brother, what kind of person is this?" Lin Xiaolong saw Wang Yanhong leave, and she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Don't argue with this kind of person. Let's pick the cherries quickly. Both the brother and sister are young and work quickly, especially Lin Xiaolong, who is very fast. In less than 2 hours, the two had picked all the cherries from the tree, a total of 10 buckets, each bucket weighing about 20 kilograms, and these 10 buckets weighed about 200 kilograms. "Brother, how much can this kind of cherry sell for per kilogram?" Lin Xiaolong asked excitedly as she looked at the picked cherries. Lin Xiaolong happily touched his sister's hair. "Xiaolong, I estimate 51 kilograms is no problem. If other trees are like this, then we don't have to worry about our debts." "Yes." Lin Xiaolong was also very excited. Other trees will be like this too, but the most urgent task now is to sell these first. If they are too ripe, no one will want them. "Brother, I will go with you to sell them." "No, I can go by myself, you stay at home and watch out for others who do bad things to our trees," Lin Xiaolong said. Lin Xiaolong was stunned at first, then nodded heavily. "Brother, don't worry." Lin Xiaolong went home and borrowed a fuel tricycle from his neighbor Aunt Zhang. Then he drove the tricycle to the edge of the field, pulled the cherries, went home to put the wild beehive, and went straight to the county town. Longyang Village is more than 20 kilometers away from the county town, which is not far. After Lin Xiaolong arrived in the county town, he didn't know where the market was. He simply found a community and stopped on the roadside outside the gate of the community. Because Lin Xiaolong got up early, he arrived at the community when the city people went to work. When these cherries were placed on the road, they immediately attracted the attention of many people. After all, cherries are not on the market yet. Those that are sold in the market are not very good looking and the filling is even worse. They are also very expensive, about 20 per kati. Lin Xiaolong's cherries are not only purple when ripe, but also big and round, and look indescribably good. "Is this a cherry? Oh my god, this cherry is too big. I wonder if it tastes good. Why have I never seen this kind of cherry? Young man, can you try one?" Soon, many female comrades gathered around and started to chatter. Most of these female comrades got up in the morning to go to work, and many of them rode electric bikes, which made parking convenient, so when they saw these cherries, they all stopped to ask questions. And the more people stopped to ask, the more people couldn't help but be curious and came to see what was going on. Of course you can try it. If you think it tastes good, then buy it. Lin Xiaolong was good looking, and he looked like a college student. He spoke politely. which immediately attracted the favor of those who were looking at the cherries. Chapter 15. I'll give you an integer, 10,000 yuan. Many people can't help it anymore. When Lin Xiaolong said that they could taste it, someone immediately picked up the big purple cherry and put it in his mouth. Wow! It's so delicious. It's sweeter than honey. Yes, I smell the scent of honey. These are the most delicious cherries I have ever tasted. How much are they? I will buy them no matter how expensive they are. Me too, handsome boy. Hurry up and weigh 10 kilograms for me. I want to share it with my relatives and friends. After tasting the cherries, the women felt like their taste buds were about to explode. Some of them didn't even ask the price and asked Lin Xiaolong to weigh them quickly. Beautiful sister, these cherries are 60 yuan per pound. Lin Xiaolong said. It's a bit expensive. A woman muttered softly. Why is it so expensive? The cherries I bought from the greenhouse before were not as big as these, not as sweet as these, and they weighed 81 kilograms. Me too, it's nothing compared to this. If I give this as a gift, it will be very prestigious. I can't bear to give away something this delicious. It looks very nutritious. Come on, weigh 10 pounds for me. I don't mind the price, handsome boy. I don't mind either. Give me 5 pounds. I'll take 3 pounds. As long as there is one thing you want, the others will be hard to get. After all, they had never seen such big cherries before, let alone such delicious ones, and they were afraid that they would all be bought by others. Lin Xiaolong originally planned to sell it at 51 kilograms, but was afraid that no one would buy it. Didn't he expect that it's now being sold for 61 kilograms and everyone is rushing to buy it? There are so many women around here, and each of them seems to be grabbing money, which immediately attracted more customers. Lin Xiaolong sold out all their more than 200 kilograms of cherries in less than an hour. The total sales amounted to more than 13,000 yuan. However, what troubled Lin Xiaolong was that his broken mobile phone wasted a lot of time and the response was too slow. Nowadays, everyone uses WeChat or Alipay to pay. If my phone responded quickly, all these cherries would probably be sold out in half an hour. Lin Xiaolong was so happy that he couldn't stop smiling. Originally, he was worried that he would not be able to earn enough to pay back Liu Erhu within a week. Now it seems that this problem can be easily solved. After all, there are so many cherry trees at home. If I go back today and continue to drip spiritual liquid under the trees, there will be a lot of cherries like this tomorrow. After selling the cherries, it's time to sell their wild beehives. If you weigh their honey in this wild beehive, it would definitely weigh more than 40 kilograms. Ordinary honey costs about 50 to 60 kilograms, and this wild honey is a rare commodity. It's not too much to sell it for 200 kilograms, right? But it's past working hours now, and without the ladies around, I wonder if anyone will come to buy. Lin Xiaolong had previously placed the barrel of Xingye beehive at the innermost part. When he was selling cherries, he did not reveal this because he was afraid of being too busy. Now that all the cherries were sold out, he simply lifted the lid on the wild beehive and put up a cardboard shell on the tricycle with the words, "Wild Beehive," written on it. If you have enough food, you won't be worried. Anyway, he already had more than 13,000 in cash, so Lin Xiaolong was not worried about whether he could sell the wild beehive quickly. Moreover, he also knew that by the time he got off work, such a good thing would probably be snatched away again. If you meet someone rich, it is possible that he will buy them all. Lin Xiaolong didn't eat much for breakfast, so he simply cut off a piece of honeycomb and ate it as breakfast. While eating, Lin Xiaolong went over the inheritance of Yin Ju in his mind. At this moment, a red Mercedes-Benz sedan drove out of the community and passed in front of Lin Xiaolong. The car had just driven a short distance when it reversed again. The window dropped, and a pleasant voice rang out, "Is this the wild beehive you're selling?" Lin Xiaolong looked up and his eyes suddenly lit up. What a beautiful lady. The woman was in her 20s, with skin as white as milk. Although she was wearing sunglasses and her eyes could not be seen, just by looking at the outline of her face, one could tell that she was absolutely beautiful and charming. Although he was shocked by the beauty of this woman, Lin Xiaolong quickly reacted, smiled slightly, and replied, "Yes, it's a wild beehive just picked from the cliff. You can get off the car and take a look." The woman originally thought that Lin Xiaolong would be like other men and would be unable to take his eyes off her when he saw her. Unexpectedly, Lin Xiaolong was just stunned for a moment, then he returned to his normal state and answered. She actually looked at Lin Xiaolong with a new respect. She turned off the car, took off her sunglasses, and got out. Once the sunglasses were removed, Lin Xiaolong saw the woman's full appearance and was even more amazed. With this appearance, she is definitely more beautiful than that fairy sister in the entertainment industry. It's so big. The woman reversed the car because she smelled the scent of honey. She thought it was just a gimmick. After all, it is difficult to find wild beehives nowadays. But after seeing Lin Xiaolong's wild beehive, she was immediately shocked. This is a wild beehive, but you can't fake it, it's too big. And it looked like it had definitely just been picked. The golden wild honey inside gave off a fragrance that she had never smelled before. This made her feel like drooling. Sister, do you want to try it? As Lin Xiaolong asked, he cut off a small piece with a knife and handed it to the woman. The woman didn't hesitate. She took it, looked at it, and put it in her mouth. Suddenly, a fragrant and sweet feeling that could melt a person went down her throat and instantly spread throughout her body. It's delicious, so delicious. The woman couldn't help but exclaimed. Buy some if you like it. This kind of wild beehive is hard to come by and you may not come across it again in the future, Lin Xiaolong said. Tell me, I want any price you want. The woman said generously. You want them all? Lin Xiaolong had thought before that maybe they would all be bought up at once, but he didn't expect it to happen so quickly. But isn't this exactly what you want? I plan to sell this for 200 yuan per kilogram. I weighed it and it weighs 40 kilograms. Give me 8,000 yuan. Lin Xiaolong said bluntly. 8,000? The whole thing? The woman looked a little surprised. You think it's too expensive? Lin Xiaolong asked. I risked my life to pick this from a cliff. I was almost stung to death by a wild bee. No, I just think that such a good thing cannot be so cheap. Normally, honey costs dozens of dollars per pound. The woman said quickly. So you think it's too cheap? Lin Xiaolong breathed a sigh of relief, but at the same time he felt a little regretful. He should have ordered more earlier. How about this, you give me the whole thing and I'll give you a number, 10,000 yuan. The woman said generously. 10,000? Now it was Lin Xiaolong's turn to be surprised. Chapter 16, the type who has too much money and nowhere to spend it. People always bargain for a lower price when buying things. This is great, I can get myself an extra 2,000 in one go. Isn't he this too tycoon? Deal. Lin Xiaolong said happily. The woman smiled and said, don't worry, I'll give you an extra 2,000, but there are conditions. What conditions? Lin Xiaolong was stunned. It turned out that there is no free lunch in this world. That is, if you have this kind of wild beehive in the future, you have to sell it to me. It will be considered as my exclusive purchase. The woman said with a smile. Are you trying to monopolize it? Yes, but don't worry, I will never let you suffer a loss in terms of price. The woman smiled like a flower. How is it? Okay, but I don't have your contact information either. Lin Xiaolong said. This is my business card. My cell phone number is also my WeChat ID. You can add me and contact me when you have goods. The woman gave Lin Xiaolong a very simple yet elegant business card. There was a particularly nice name printed on the business card, Su Yaxian. Okay, Sister Yaxian. Lin Xiaolong nodded in response. Hee, your little mouth is quite sweet. Su Yaxian paid Lin Xiaolong 10,000 yuan directly through the payment code, and Lin Xiaolong handed the bucket and the wild beehive to Su Yaxian. Can't you help me put it in the car? Su Yaxian rolled her eyes at Lin Xiaolong. You really don't know how to be gentle with women. Lin Xiaolong smiled embarrassedly. I'll let you play it. Just as she lifted the bucket, Su Yaxian suddenly shouted, "R! What's wrong?" Lin Xiaolong was startled. What kind of fruit is this? Su Yaxian said, pointing at a few cherries in the tricycle. These cherries fell out of the bucket and Lin Xiaolong didn't have time to clean them up. Cherries? Lin Xiaolong said with a smile. Such a big cherry. How is that possible? Su Yaxian didn't believe it at all. Really? This is what I sold this morning. These buckets are filled with cherries. Lin Xiaolong said, pointing to the empty buckets. Su Yaxian picked up a cherry, looked at it, then took out a bottle of mineral water from the car, washed it with mineral water, and put it in her mouth. Then she closed her eyes and couldn't help but let out a comfortable sound. Delicious, delicious, absolutely delicious. Lin Xiaolong couldn't help laughing. Sister Yaxian, if they are not all sold out, I will give you 2 kilograms. Are all your cherries like this? Su Yaxian opened her beautiful big eyes and asked in disbelief. Yes, that's always the case. This morning, we sold more than 200 kilograms in 1 hour, and the price was 61 kilograms. Lin Xiaolong told the truth. Do you have any more at home? Su Yaxian excitedly grabbed Lin Xiaolong's hand. Her hands are white and tender, and her fingers are long and slender, like scallions. Lin Xiaolong had never enjoyed such treatment before, and his face turned red immediately. There will be more tomorrow. Lin Xiaolong said. Then contact me tomorrow and I'll buy as much as you have. I'll give you 71 kilograms, which will save you from having to sell out bit by bit. Su Yaxian said generously, but we have to make a deal, they must be the same as these. Lin Xiaolong was shocked again. I was given another $10 more. Could it be that this sister is the type who has too much money and has no idea where to spend it? But such a good thing is hard to find even with a lantern. Must agree. Can. Okay, call me then. I have something else to do, so I'm leaving now. Lin Xiaolong put the wild beehive in Su Yaxian's trunk, and she drove away in her Mercedes. Lin Xiaolong looked at the direction where Su Yaxian disappeared, feeling a sense of loss. I thought I would spend a whole day in the county town, but unexpectedly, I sold out all the things in less than 2 hours. My net income is more than 23,000. The speed of making money is too fast. Lin Xiaolong decided to buy 4 mobile phones first, one for each family member. After all, this is an information society. Having a smooth mobile phone not only makes it convenient to communicate, but also allows you to get twice the result with half the effort in many things. Then, buy some delicious food and improve the meals at home. Do it when you think of it. Lin Xiaolong drove his tricycle to the largest shopping mall in the county. He went to high school in the county town. Although he didn't know where the market was, he knew where the largest shopping mall, Xinya department store, was. When he arrived at the shopping mall, Lin Xiaolong directly bought 4 Huawei mobile phones, each costing around 4,000 yuan, and spent a total of more than 16,000 yuan. Then, I applied for mobile phone cards for my parents and sister and put them in their phones. Afterwards, he bought some prepared food in the supermarket that he had been reluctant to buy before, and then left the shopping mall and prepared to go home. Just as I got on the tricycle and was about to leave, a Toyota SUV drove over and stopped next to the tricycle. Just as Lin Xiaolong was about to start the car and walk away, the door of the SUV opened, and a man jumped out of the car and grabbed Lin Xiaolong's steering wheel. Lin Xiaolong, is it really you? Lin Xiaolong looked up and couldn't help but frown slightly. He didn't expect to meet his high school classmate, Jiang Yuan, here. Jiang Yuan is the monitor of Lin Xiaolong's high school. He is tall and strong, handsome, and good at socializing. He is definitely a star in the class. Not to mention the class, many girls in the entire grade liked him. I don't know how many girls had written love letters to him. This guy accepted everyone who came to him. When he was in high school, many girls had been taken advantage of by him, and some even had multiple miscarriages because of him. This person is definitely a scumbag, but he is a scumbag because his family is well off and his father is the president of a company. Many boys in his class surround him every day and act as his lackeys. Only Lin Xiaolong focused on his studies every day and never tried to curry favor with him. Jiang Yuan is popular, but unfortunately his grades are average and he is just average in the class. Although Lin Xiaolong was introverted, didn't talk much and had few friends, he had good grades and always ranked first in the class. Therefore, there are still some students who love to study and they all admire Lin Xiaolong very much. Among these people is the class beauty Zhao Ting. As luck would have it, the teacher assigned Zhao Ting and Lin Xiaolong to the same table. At that time, both of them were in a naive period. They usually pretended to be reserved and didn't talk much to each other. However, every time they pretended to see each other inadvertently, they would immediately blush. That feeling makes Lin Xiaolong's heart beat fast when he thinks about it now. But later, as their college entrance examination approached, no one had the energy to think about other things, resulting in the fact that neither of them said what they wanted to say when they graduated. At that time, Jiang Yuan also liked Zhao Ting. He could handle so many girls except Zhao Ting. And how could Jiang Yuan not see from the way Zhao Ting looked at Lin Xiaolong that she liked Lin Xiaolong? So, Jiang Yuan took out all his resentment on Lin Xiaolong. Lin Xiaolong had no idea how many times Jiang Yuan and his men had blocked him in the dormitory, humiliated him, and beaten him. If it weren't for his parents, Lin Xiaolong would have wanted to stab them with a knife. However, he finally survived that difficult time, graduated successfully, and was admitted to a good university. Although the two of them had a grudge, since Jiang Yuan took the initiative to speak, Lin Xiaolong couldn't refuse, otherwise he would seem too petty. "Sergeant, what a coincidence," Lin Xiaolong said with a smile. "What a coincidence, Lin Xiaolong, are you in the city to sell things?" Jiang Yuan did not take the initiative to attack or humiliate Lin Xiaolong. Instead, he looked sincere. "Yes, selling some fruits." Lin Xiaolong told the truth and did not feel embarrassed. "Xiaolong, I was ignorant when I was in school and bullied you a lot. I hope you don't mind." Jiang Yuan patted Lin Xiaolong on the shoulder and said, "No." Lin Xiaolong smiled, but how could the pain in the heart heal so easily? "Well, we have a high school reunion this weekend. I organized it and many classmates are coming. I didn't know your contact information before, so I couldn't notify you. Now that we meet, I'd like to invite you again. You won't think I'm inviting you too late, right?" Jiang Yuan asked sincerely. "I'm very busy at home, so I won't participate," Lin Xiaolong said. "It seems you still haven't forgiven me." Jiang Yuan sighed and said, "Zhao Ting keeps saying she wants to see you." Lin Xiaolong's heart moved. "Okay, I'll participate this weekend." Chapter 17. How can this fool be so naive? After leaving his contact information, Lin Xiaolong left the shopping mall on his tricycle. Behind him, Jiang Yuan had a sneer on his face. He rode a broken tricycle like a beggar, and yet he dared to attend the class reunion. "I just want to see Zhao Ting." "Humph, I'm afraid that by then, the greater your hope, the greater your disappointment will be." He wasted no time in embarrassing himself, and now he can finally vent his anger. "What's the point of studying hard? I'm still farming at home." Lin Xiaolong didn't know what Jiang Yuan was thinking. He really wanted to meet Zhao Ting. After all, the girl was nice to him back then. Moreover, he also wanted to see how Zhao Ting was doing now and which university she was studying in. After all, the friendship between classmates back then is still worth remembering. When he arrived in the town, Lin Xiaolong filled up the tricycle's tank of gas before returning to Longyang Village. When returning the tricycle to Aunt Zhang's house, Lin Xiaolong said that the gas was full. Although Aunt Zhang said there was no need to refuel, she was grinning from ear to ear. "That's how it is in the countryside, you have to know how to handle things. If I use Aunt Zhang's tricycle for nothing this time, it might not be so easy to borrow it next time." After leaving Aunt Zhang's house, Lin Xiaolong did not go home, but went to Xiangxiu's house. "Xiaolong, when are you planning to sell the beehives?" "I'll go with you." Xiangxiu was immediately excited when she saw Lin Xiaolong. Ever since Lin Xiaolong was no longer stupid, he has become more handsome and more likable no matter how you look at him. "Sister, I have sold the wild beehive, and I'm here to share the money with you," Lin Xiaolong said with a smile. "You've already sold it. That's too quick, right?" Xiangxiu said in surprise. "This thing sells very well. I met a generous buyer who bought the whole piece for a total of 10,000 yuan. "What, 10,000 yuan?" Xiangxiu was so surprised that she couldn't close her mouth. 10,000 yuan is definitely a huge sum of money in Longyang Village. Some families' annual income does not even reach 10,000 yuan. Unexpectedly, Lin Xiaolong sold a wild beehive for 10,000 yuan. "Sister Xiangxiu, I think a 50-50 split is better. I'll transfer 5,000 yuan to you right now," Lin Xiaolong said as he was about to transfer the money to Xiangxiu. Xiangxiu was furious at the time. "Lin Xiaolong, you look down on me, what's wrong with me? I said 20% and it's 20%, and if you don't listen, I won't take any of it." She knew that Lin Xiaolong's family owed the loan shark Liu Erhu. Besides, she really didn't contribute much to the matter. She just led the way. How could she ask for so much? "Okay, I'll transfer 2,000 to you." Lin Xiaolong had no choice but to transfer 2,000 to Xiangxiu. Hee, we're rich, Xiaolong. Eat here at noon, and I'll feed you from below." Xianxiu said, her face actually turning red. No, Sister Xianxiu, my family is waiting for me. Lin Xiaolong hurriedly put down some cooked food for Xianxiu and went home. Xianxiu sighed from behind, this fool, how could he be so naive? But, isn't it his simplicity and kindness that I like? When Lin Xiaolong got home, his sister was cooking. When she saw her brother coming back with so many delicious food, she immediately ran over. Brother, have you sold the cherries and wild beehive? Lin Xiaoxing and Wang Ju also looked at their son expectantly. After all, the entire family's income depends almost entirely on these cherries. I sold 61 kilograms of cherries for more than 13,000 yuan, and their wild beehives for 10,000 yuan. I gave 2,000 yuan to Sister Xianxiu, and I bought for mobile phones, spending more than 16,000 yuan. Now I have more than 5,000 yuan left. Mom, I received all the money with my mobile phone. It's all saved in my phone, you see. Lin Xiaolong showed his mother Wang Ju the WeChat balance on his phone. I thought they would be very happy, but after a moment of happiness, they all frowned. What's wrong? Lin Xiaolong asked. Xiaolong, our family owes so much foreign debt, how can you be willing to spend so much money to buy a mobile phone? Even if you want to buy a mobile phone, can't you just spend a few hundred yuan to buy one that can be used? Although Wang Ju didn't have the heart to say anything to her son, she still spoke out her true feelings and sighed. Your mother is right. You used to be a sensible child. Why are you spending money so lavishly this time? You should know your priorities. Lin Xiaoxing also talked about Lin Xiaolong. Only my younger sister didn't say anything, but she also pouted. After all, how she wished to live a debt-free life. Lin Xiaolong laughed. Mom, mobile phones are the most basic communication tools nowadays. In the past, I was the only one with a broken mobile phone, which could not work at all. Now I buy one for each person in the family, so that it will be more convenient for us to contact each other in the future. The key is that I can sell things better. It is much more convenient to collect money with this thing than with cash. Today, our cherries were sold out in less than 2 hours. If my mobile phone is good, it will only take an hour. What do you think, is this phone worth buying? That's what I said, but... Wang Ju wanted to say more. Mom, listen to my brother. Lin Xiaoxue pulled her mother. After all, her brother is fine and life at home is getting better, and she doesn't want her brother to be confused again because of this matter. Mom, you didn't hear how much the cherries at home were sold for just now, right? Lin Xiaolong asked with a smile. After Lin Xiaolong said this, the two old people, including his sister, suddenly realized what was going on. 60 yuan per pound, how is this possible? Xiaolong, are you not thinking straight again? Wang Ju asked worriedly. That's right, whose cherries can be sold for 61 kilograms. Even if ours are put on the market earlier, the most they can sell is probably more than 20 kilograms, right? Lin Xiaoxing was even more unconvinced. After all, he was the one who took the family's cherries to sell in the past, so he knew the price. This is true. You can ask Xiaoxue and you will know. I have prepared a special fertilizer. The cherries in our family are big and round, purple and red, look good and taste great. They are snatched away in the city. 61 kilograms are not enough to sell. Lin Xiaolong said. Really? Lin Xiaoxing and Wang Ju didn't believe it at all. Of course it's real. I brought back a few more. You can try them. Lin Xiaolong took out the remaining cherries and showed them to Lin Xiaoxing and Wang Ju. When they saw this kind of cherry, they were shocked. Oh my god! Is this still a cherry? If this is true, then what my son said must be true. Try it. Lin Xiaolong washed it and gave it to his parents. When they tasted it, they were even more shocked. Delicious, so delicious. Such good cherries are sold for 60 yuan. Although it is expensive, it is acceptable. I know our family is in debt, but with such good cherries, paying back the money will definitely not be a problem, said Lin Xiaolong. Xiaolong, there are only 5 days left, and the cherries are not ripe every day. What should we do if Liu Erhu comes to collect the debt? Lin Xiaoxing asked. Don't worry, Dad. I can guarantee that there will be cooked food every day. Lin Xiaolong said with a smile. Dad, you're right to trust me. Lin Xiaoxue looked at Lin Xiaolong happily again. Brother, where's my phone? Chapter 18. Someone is doing something bad. Lin Xiaolong gave the phone to his sister, and his sister immediately started playing with the phone happily. After all, she is a child, and a girl at that. She didn't have the conditions before, and even if she wanted a mobile phone, she couldn't afford it. Now that her brother has bought her a mobile phone, it would be strange if she is not happy. After the parents got the phone, although they still felt sad, they also showed relieved smiles on their faces. Lin Xiaolong didn't let his sister continue cooking. He took out all the cooked food and had lunch happily. During the lunch break, Lin Xiaolong used the rest time to practice Longyang Gong again. However, compared with the spiritual energy in the Longyang cave, the spiritual energy at home is too thin. Although I feel that I have made great progress through practice, I still have not broken through to the second level. It seems that if I have time, I should go to Longyang cave to practice. Although the spiritual liquid in the jade bottle can be absorbed and utilized, Lin Xiaolong is now relying on that little spiritual liquid to water the cherries, and he is reluctant to absorb the spiritual energy in it. In the afternoon, after getting up, Lin Xiaolong went straight to the cherry orchard. When he was still 200 meters away from the cherry orchard, he smelled a strong odor of ammonia. Lin Xiaolong's 5 senses are now very sensitive. The smell is like rotten eggs, which is very unpleasant. Lin Xiaolong's nose is so sensitive now that he can smell it more clearly. This is definitely the smell of paraquat. Whose family is using paraquat? Lin Xiaolong was very puzzled. Because paraquat is extremely toxic, when people take it, they may not seem to have any symptoms at first. However, within a few days, their lungs will become completely fibrotic. People who have taken paraquat will be fully conscious and watch themselves suffocate to death, which is extremely painful. And, so far, there is no antidote. Therefore, paraquat has been listed as a banned herbicide by the country. However, there are still some unscrupulous merchants who are selling it secretly. But at this time of year, the cherries are almost ripe, and paraquat must not be used. How could there be a smell of paraquat? Lin Xiaolong couldn't help but quicken his pace. Another cherry orchard not far from Lin Xiaolong's cherry orchard is Huang Jing's cherry orchard. At this moment, she hurriedly carried a sprayer and went into a nursing room in the cherry orchard. When I came out again, the sprayer was gone. She looked in the direction of Lin Xiaolong's cherry orchard, sneered and said to herself, "I made your cherries grow well, and I made your cherry trees die. Humph! You want to turn things around? No way." When Lin Xiaolong entered the cherry orchard, the smell became even stronger. He followed the smell, and when he came to a cherry tree near the roadside, he was so angry that he almost swore. The leaves of more than 10 cherry trees near the roadside have begun to curl up, and they emit a strong smell of paraquat. Needless to say, I don't know which unscrupulous person sprayed them with paraquat. Paraquat is not only untreatable for humans, but also for trees. All 10 trees have been sprayed with paraquat and will definitely not survive. There are more than 50 cherry trees in Lin Xiaolong's cherry orchard, and more than 10 of them have been sprayed with paraquat, which means a 1/5 reduction in production. This is the cherry tree that my sister worked so hard to grow and bear fruit. Now it has reached its peak fruit-bearing season and it has produced so many cherries this year. Doing such a thing at this time is simply unscrupulous. In rural areas, there are 2 things that are the most intolerable. One is to destroy other people's poultry and livestock, and the other is to destroy other people's crops and fruit trees. After all, these 2 are the main sources of income for rural people. Using paraquat to destroy the cherry trees that are about to be picked is something that no human being can do. Especially since the situation in his own family was already like this, and there were still people who were so vicious, which made Lin Xiaolong even more furious. He looked in front of the trees and found traces of dripping pesticides on the ground. He followed these traces and searched for the source. Although the traces of these pesticides evaporate quickly, they are not completely untraceable. Moreover, because Lin Xiaolong had a very sensitive nose, he managed to track the trail all the way to Huang Jing's home. At this moment, Huang Jing just came out from the field. Huang Jing was startled when she suddenly saw Lin Xiaolong. "What are you doing here? Are you trying to steal my cherries?" Huang Jing's heart was pounding, so she decided to come and complain first. At this moment, Lin Xiaolong was certain that this incident was definitely done by this vicious aunt. Although he was very angry, he did not lose his mind. After all, he did not catch Huang Jing himself. However, his eyes were so cold that they seemed to be able to freeze Wang Yanhong. I wouldn't even want this crappy cherry from yours, even if you give it to me for free. Seeing Lin Xiaolong's extremely cold eyes, Wang Yanhong felt even more guilty, and at the same time, she actually had a vague feeling of fear in her heart. How did this guy find this place? Did he find some clues? But no matter what, I must never admit this. Anyway, he has no evidence, so if things really get out of hand, I will just run to his house and make a scene, sue him for being a scoundrel, and ask him to compensate me for my mental damages. Your cherries are the best. Why did you come to my field if you weren't going to steal them? Wang Yanhong yelled like a shrew. Open your dog eyes and look carefully, am I in your field? Lin Xiaolong said bluntly. It's not that he doesn't respect his elders, but some elders are not worthy of respect. Moreover, he was not in Wang Yanhong's field, but on the road. Lin Xiaolong, you little bastard, how can you talk to me like that? What did your family teach you, to talk to your elders like that? Wang Yanhong felt that she had grasped the truth and shouted even louder. You are considered an elder. Lin Xiaolong snorted coldly, you'd better hide the sprayer. If I call the police, some people will be in trouble. Lin Xiaolong glared at Wang Yanhong coldly, then turned and walked towards his own cherry orchard. Wang Yanhong was frightened by Lin Xiaolong's words. She wanted to continue to make a scene, but she was frightened by Lin Xiaolong so much that she didn't dare to say a word. After all, she kept the sprayer filled with paraquat in the nursing room of her cherry orchard. If this guy really called the police, I would have no chance to move. If you get caught by the police, it will be extremely embarrassing. Fortunately, Lin Xiaolong seemed unsure and did not investigate further. Wang Yanhong naturally did not dare to make a big deal out of it. After all, she was the one who felt guilty. Lin Xiaolong returned to his cherry orchard and looked at the more than 10 cherry trees. In this short while, many leaves have begun to turn yellow and dry. It seems that these cherry trees will have a hard time surviving. This damn woman. Lin Xiaolong looked at a large water tank placed in the middle of the garden. The tank was full of water. It was filled yesterday when his sister watered the land. He took out a jade bottle. There was only about 10 milliliters of spiritual liquid in the bottle. Yesterday I dropped a drop of this medicine into the water under a tree. The cherries on the tree ripened quickly and became big, round and purple. We can't do it drop by drop today, so it's better to pour all the spiritual liquid into this big water tank, stir it evenly, and pour it under the tree. The effect should be good. Do it when you think of it. Lin Xiaolong poured all the spiritual liquid in the jade bottle directly into the water tank. Suddenly, a strong spiritual energy made him feel relaxed and happy. Chapter 19: The Willful Woman Who Fell into the Water. Such a rich spiritual energy. If it is distributed again, it will be wasted. You have to water the cherry tree quickly. Lin Xiaolong immediately fetched water in a bucket and started watering the cherry tree. Moreover, he specifically chose trees that produced good cherries for watering. Lin Xiaolong used this tank of water to water 10 cherry trees. There was still half a bucket of water left. Lin Xiaolong thought about it and fell under a tree that had been sprayed with paraquat. I don't know whether this water mixed with spiritual liquid will have any effect on this tree. No matter what, let's give it a try. After all, this tree represents the result of countless efforts of my parents and sister. If it were to be replanted, it would take at least 5 years from a sapling to grow into its current shape. After watering the cherry trees, Lin Xiaolong was already sweating profusely. The weather is already very hot now, and Lin Xiaolong feels dirty and greasy all over. He simply came to the Longyang reservoir, looked around, and found no one else. After taking off his coat, Lin Xiaolong jumped into the reservoir and swam freely like a fish. Since he was a child, Lin Xiaolong liked to play in the water in the reservoir, and was often scolded by his parents for this. But after being beaten into a fool, he became much less courageous and never dared to go into the water again. Now that he has returned to normal and has mastered the first level of Longyang Gong, he swims in the water like a happy fish, going up and down very happily. It feels so good. Lin Xiaolong surfaced, admiring the beautiful scenery around him, feeling relaxed and happy. Not far away, an old turtle surfaced to breathe. Lin Xiaolong saw it carefully and dived forward. When he emerged from the water, he had already grabbed the old turtle and threw it directly to the shore. With a snap, The old turtle fell on its back on the rocks beside the reservoir and couldn't turn over. Har har, it's just right that my parents need to nourish their bodies. This old turtle is rich in nutrients. And judging from its appearance, it must have lived for at least a few decades. This is a good thing that money can't buy. Lin Xiaolong immediately swam to the shore, grabbed the old turtle, put on his clothes and went home. Before I could even put on my clothes, I heard a faint call in the distance. Lin Xiaolong looked in the direction of the sound and saw an off-road vehicle parked on the other side of Longyang Lake, and a figure struggling in the water. Not good. Someone fell into the water. Lin Xiaolong didn't have time to put on his clothes. His legs seemed to be equipped with hot wheels and he ran over there as fast as he could. The Longyang reservoir was too large. Even though Lin Xiaolong ran very fast, by the time he arrived at the place, the struggling person could no longer be seen. Lin Xiaolong jumped down with a whoosh, ran straight to the place where the woman fell into the water, and dived down. Don't let anything happen. Don't let anything happen. Fortunately, the water here is clear enough, and since it is close to the shore, there are no undercurrents in the water. After Lin Xiaolong went underwater, he saw a figure slowly sinking, with long hair floating on the surface pulled by the water. Lin Xiaolong quickly swam forward, hugged the other person's body, floated to the surface, and swam quickly to the shore. When they reached the shore, Lin Xiaolong laid the person down, and then he discovered that the person he had saved was actually a very beautiful and hot woman. The hot girl in front of me is about 20 years old, with a devilish figure, and all the protruding parts are very prominent. However, at this moment, the hot girl's face turned blue, her eyes were closed, and even her breathing had stopped. We must rescue people quickly. Although Lin Xiaolong dropped out of medical school after less than a year, he still had no problem with basic first aid. He placed his hands on the woman's chest and immediately began pressing and performing CPR on her. As Lin Xiaolong pressed, lake water continued to come out of the woman's mouth. However, the woman's breathing never recovered. The water in her abdomen had been almost vomited out. Seeing that the woman still hadn't recovered her breathing, Lin Xiaolong had no choice but to take a deep breath, lie down, and perform artificial respiration on the woman. Press the woman's chest several times and give her a few breaths of artificial respiration. After working for more than 20 minutes, the woman suddenly choked on a mouthful of water and started coughing continuously. Finally woke up. Lin Xiaolong breathed a long sigh of relief, and the sweat on his body poured down like rain. I'm so tired. Lin Xiaolong sat down on the ground. Bang! A crisp sound. As soon as Lin Xiaolong's butt touched the ground, he was slapped hard on the face. Along with that, the woman screamed, "You bastard!" Lin Xiaolong was stunned by the beating from the woman. He stared at the woman blankly, only to see that her pretty face was looking at him fiercely, with a look of extreme shame and anger. Why did you hit me? Lin Xiaolong shouted. You, who told you to kiss me? The woman's chest trembled with anger. I kiss you? Big sister, I'm giving you artificial respiration, okay? I gave you CPR and artificial respiration for almost half an hour before I saved you, and this is how you treat your savior. Lin Xiaolong was speechless. But, you. The woman slapped Lin Xiaolong only in desperation. After all, before she opened her eyes, she already felt someone kissing her mouth. Now she actually understood that the handsome boy in front of her was actually saving her. But for a moment, she was embarrassed to admit her mistake and didn't know what to say. A dog bites Lu Dongbin, and he doesn't know the good heart. Lin Xiaolong stood up, turned around and left. Stop right there, the woman shouted. Why are you standing there? Do you want me to hit you again? I'm not a masochist. Lin Xiaolong said unhappily. I told you to stop, and you have to stop. The woman shouted angrily. TSK. Who do you think you are? Lin Xiaolong was already holding back his anger, and when he heard the woman being so rude and unreasonable, he said something disdainful and continued walking. If you leave again, I will yell that you molested me. The woman screamed again. Gar. Lin Xiaolong stood there for a moment, speechless. Who is this person? You can shout if you dare. If you dare to accuse me, I will throw you into the water to feed the turtles. Lin Xiaolong turned around and threatened viciously. To be honest, he really had the urge to throw this woman into the water again. The woman was stunned when she saw Lin Xiaolong's ferocious look. Snort. Lin Xiaolong turned and left, saying, "How dare you scare me? I'm really not someone who can be scared." But just as I turned around, I suddenly heard a whimpering sound behind me. You bully me. If you leave, I will jump down now and die in here." Lin Xiaolong immediately stood there again. He turned around and said helplessly, "Big sister, are you sick? If you want to die, don't let me see it, okay? No one is bullying like you." When the woman heard what Lin Xiaolong said, she suddenly burst into laughter and said, "As long as you don't leave, I won't jump." Chapter 20 County Beauty Tang Chi. "Then you won't accuse me of molesting you?" Lin Xiaolong asked. The woman pouted and said, "You are such a petty person. Wasn't it because I was anxious that I said that? Then you are not in danger anymore. Why do you want me to stay here? Besides." Lin Xiaolong looked down at his lower body, only wearing a pair of shorts. "This is not right." Seeing Lin Xiaolong's embarrassed look, the woman actually chuckled and said, "Thank you. You're welcome. But why did you come here alone? And how did you fall into the water?" Lin Xiaolong asked curiously. "I was in a bad mood, so I drove here to relax. Then I accidentally slipped into the water on the shore. Fortunately, you were here, otherwise I would have been fed to the fish today," said the woman. "My clothes are over there. I'll put them on first and then come over to talk to you." Lin Xiaolong pointed to the other side. "Well, I'll drive you there." The woman stood up and said, "All right." The car was a Mercedes-Benz G-Class, very tall and mighty. Normally, this type of car is driven by men, but when the girl in front of me drove it, it actually gave off a heroic vibe. With a step on the accelerator, the car drove quickly around the Longyang Reservoir. What Lin Xiaolong didn't expect was that the woman drove very fast and reached the other side very quickly. "Don't peek, I need to change my clothes in the car," the woman said to Lin Xiaolong when he was about to get out of the car. "Don't worry, I won't even watch it if you pay me." As Lin Xiaolong spoke, he jumped out of the car. "I'm not a gangster. Besides, what's there to see? You?" The woman snorted angrily and ignored Lin Xiaolong. When Lin Xiaolong got out of the car, he found that his body was sticky again. He simply jumped into the water and swam 2 laps before getting ashore. At this time, the woman had already changed her clothes. Now she has changed into a short skirt, which makes Lin Xiaolong almost stunned. "Humph! Rogue." The woman looked at Lin Xiaolong's silly look and her face turned slightly red, but she was smiling. "Sister, please stop being such a hooligan, okay? I'm your savior. I don't ask for your life in return, but you should at least do me a favor," Lin Xiaolong said angrily. Okay, my savior, may I ask your name?" the woman said with a sweet smile. "The most handsome man in Longyang Village, Lin Xiaolong." Lin Xiaolong introduced himself without any modesty. He, how shameless." The woman laughed even more happily. "Excuse me, beautiful lady, what is your name?" Lin Xiaolong asked the girl. "I am the county beauty of Longyang County, Tang Chi," the woman said with a smile. "Never heard of it." Lin Xiaolong shook his head. "Huh, you and I have never heard of it," Tang Chi said unconvinced. "That doesn't matter. You can go ask around in the village and you'll find out. Even the widows in our village know that I'm the most handsome man in the village." It's really like old Lin selling melons, bragging about himself, Tang Chi said. "Okay, don't hang around here by yourself. It's dangerous. Drive back to the county town quickly. I want to go home too." After Lin Xiaolong finished speaking, he picked up the big turtle that was still trying to turn over not far away. "Ha! Turtle!" Tang Chi exclaimed in surprise. "What turtle?" "This is an old turtle. Have you ever drunk the essence of Chinese soft-shell turtle? This is the stuff I'm talking about," Lin Xiaolong said. "It's still the same," Tang Chi said unconvinced. "That's different. We only eat old turtles, not tortoises," Lin Xiaolong said, and was about to take the tortoise away. "Are you going back to eat it?" "Yeah? Any questions?" "No problem, I want to eat too." "Gar. You're welcome. I haven't even had lunch," Tang Chi said in a delicate voice, looking pitiful. Okay, come on, follow me home." Lin Xiaolong had no choice but to get into Tang Chi's Mercedes-Benz G and head towards home. At the doorstep, a lot of people surrounded them again. Liu Erhu was leading Erlai and Sanusi, shouting and yelling. These two people were nearly stung to death by those mountain wasps yesterday. Fortunately, Liu Erhu drove them to their hospital and they were given an for drip for a day. Otherwise, it is hard to say what their condition would be. Even so, their faces were swollen like steamed buns, and there was only a slit left over their eyes. They had just started feeling better today, so they followed Liu Erhu and ran to Lin Xiaolong's house to blackmail him. In their words, the beehive was taken down by Lin Xiaolong, and the mountain wasps should have stung him, Lin Xiaolong, but stung them instead. The two of them took the blame for Lin Xiaolong, and he must compensate them for their injuries. Where's that little bastard Lin Xiaolong? Tell him to get out here. Damn it. He took away their wasp nest and sold it for money, and I got stung by a wasp. Look at my face, it's as fat as a pig's butt. I feel like hundreds of millions of my brain cells have been stung to death. You have to pay the money. $50,000, not a cent less. If you don't give me money, I will eat, drink, defecate and urinate at your house. Many villagers around were watching the fun. Although they all felt that the two men were going too far, they had the support of the big gangster Liu Erhu, so no one dared to stand up for them. Xie Xue was so angry that tears welled up in her eyes. You were stung by a wasp, not beaten by my brother, why should I pay you money? Stop talking nonsense. If you don't pay me, I'll drag you to accompany the guests. Erlai shouted. He, why don't you stay with us too first? As long as you stay with us, we won't ask for a penny. The baldy three opened his eyes wide and looked at Xie Xue. You are too bullying. Get out now. Huang Jing walked out holding the wall, shouting angrily. Don't be angry. If you get caught again, you'll have to go to hell. Liu Erhu said grimly, hurry up and get that little bastard Lin Xiaolong out. Could he have run away because he couldn't pay the money? At this moment, a Mercedes-Benz G drove over quickly. The crowd dispersed at once, and the Mercedes-Benz G stopped directly in front of Liu Erhu, which scared Liu Erhu so much that he quickly stepped back. Who are you calling a bastard? Lin Xiaolong jumped out of the car and shouted. Har, Lin Xiaolong, of course I'm calling you a bastard. Liu Erhu shouted arrogantly. He is indeed a real bastard. Lin Xiaolong sneered. Suddenly, the people around couldn't help but burst into laughter. Tang Qi jumped down from the car, laughing so hard that her body shook with laughter. Lin Xiaolong, did this guy get kicked in the head by a donkey? He actually called himself a bastard. It was a difficult birth, due to lack of oxygen, said Lin Xiaolong. Suddenly, the people around laughed even louder. Damn it, Lin Xiaolong, you dare to scold me. You are looking for death. Liu Erhu clenched his fists. Chapter 21, Dealing with the Scoundrels. When he saw Lin Xiaolong getting out of the Mercedes-Benz G-Class with a hot beauty, he was actually very confused. How could a fool like Lin Xiaolong get to know a beautiful lady driving a Mercedes-Benz G-Class? This Mercedes-Benz G-Class costs more than 1 million yuan. It is impossible for Lin Xiaolong to have such relatives and friends. Originally he was planning to test it out, but Lin Xiaolong came down and scolded him, making him look like a retard. How could he tolerate such an insult? So, he came up and wanted to attack, shaking his fist. When Lin Xiaolong saw that he was about to take action, he snorted coldly and stood in front of him with a sneer on his face. Liu Erhu suddenly woke up. Yes, this kid is very skilled. Last time, he called so many people over and they were all beaten up by him with just a few punches and kicks. If he takes action again this time, won't he be beaten up even worse? Thinking of this, he quickly unclenched his fist. Lin Xiaolong, I won't bother with people like you who have no manners. As soon as these words were spoken, the people around him booed. How dare such a thug say that others have no manners? Liu Erhu looked around coldly, and suddenly, no one dared to look at him, for fear that he would remember them. Liu Erhu snorted disdainfully, then looked at Lin Xiaolong again. I came here today for two things. First, Erlai and Sambolzi were stung by a wasp yesterday afternoon because of you. You have to pay compensation of 50,000 yuan. Second, the 2 days are almost up. There are only 5 days left. You owe me 150,000 yuan. Prepare them all for me, or I will have to take their house away. Seeing that Liu Erhu and the other two looked like hooligans, Tang Qi walked up to them and started to confront them. But as soon as she moved, Lin Xiaolong pulled her back. This time, Tang Qi glared at Liu Erhu fiercely and stood aside without saying a word. She was actually a little confused about the two things that the gangster said. And she also wanted to see how Lin Xiaolong would deal with the current situation. Liu Erhu, you don't have to worry about the 150,000 yuan. Since I said it, I will definitely do it. If you really can't do it, you can take the homestead. I will never regret it. Lin Xiaolong said lightly. That's good. So many villagers are listening. I'm not afraid that you will go back on your word. Liu Erhu said proudly. His current goal is to obtain Lin Xiaolong's homestead, and he also wants to force Xiaoxue to go to his practice room to sing with him. Therefore, he was also tolerating Lin Xiaolong, otherwise, he would have brought dozens of people to deal with Lin Xiaolong. As for these two idiots. Lin Xiaolong looked at Erlai and Santuzi. I'm picking my beehive, it's none of their business. They have no sense and are following me around like a lackey. If the mountain wasps don't sting them, who else will they sting? They deserve it. Boy, you're so shameless that you're taking me by storm. I'm going to stay at your house today. Erlai didn't expect Lin Xiaolong to dare to say such a thing, and he immediately started to act like a rogue. He even said that Lin Xiaolong was acting like a rogue. Yes, we will stay here. Your family has to take care of our eating, drinking, defecating and urinating. Besides, I want to live in Lin Xiaoxue's room and sleep in his bed. The third boldy also shouted. These two are really shameless. The two people shouted and went straight into Lin Xiaolong's house. This is my home. I'm warning you. Come out immediately. Lin Xiaolong shouted outside. The two people didn't listen at all. After entering, they shouted, which one is Lin Xiaoxue's room? Xiaolong, these two people are too unreasonable. Should we call the police? Tang Qi asked. Need not. Lin Xiaolong smiled coldly and said loudly, the villagers have seen it. These two people broke into my house without my permission. This is called illegal trespassing. They broke the law. I drove them out. It was legitimate defense. After saying that, Lin Xiaolong rushed into the yard. The two men were about to enter the room, but unexpectedly, Lin Xiaolong appeared behind them all of a sudden. Then, Lin Xiaolong stretched out his hands and grabbed the back of their necks. The two men screamed in pain and felt like their necks were about to be broken. Lin Xiaolong leaned forward, pinched the back of their necks, and dragged them to the gate like dead dogs. Then, push your hands forward. Whoosh twice. The two men flew out like two sandbags. Then, it fell heavily to the ground. The two men felt as if their internal organs were about to be thrown out, and their entire bodies were in excruciating pain. Suddenly, the two of them lay on the ground and rolled around. Help! Someone is killing me. Lin Xiaolong is about to kill us. My bones are broken, Lin Xiaolong, please go to the hospital for a checkup. I got a concussion and a headache. My headache hurts like hell. Everyone around was shocked, including Liu Erhu. He knew that Lin Xiaolong was powerful, but he didn't expect that he would be so powerful. He just threw out two living people, one in each hand. How much strength does that take? However, seeing the performance of Erlai and Sambolzi, he secretly laughed in his heart. Let's see what you, Lin Xiaolong, will do now. I'll blackmail you to death. The villagers around were also secretly worried about Lin Xiaolong. After all, he was too young. Now these two people were blackmailing him. How were you going to end this? I thought Lin Xiaolong would also be panicked, but unexpectedly, Lin Xiaolong just smiled. Mom, Xiaoxue, Tang Qi, let's go home and have some braised turtle. Xiaoxue looked at her brother, but, brother, they. Don't worry, I was acting in self-defense to stop hooligans from illegally invading the house. As for them rolling around at the door, as long as they don't mind being embarrassed and the ground is dirty, let them make a scene here, and you can just watch them show off. Lin Xiaolong said. Yes, just think of it as watching a monkey show, it's really entertaining. Tang Qi also said with a smile. After hearing this, Erlai and Santuzi just stood there in a daze, not knowing what to do. They don't want to get nothing and become a laughingstock among the villagers. Wouldn't that make them look like idiots? Humph, Lin Xiaolong, you were the one who injured these two people when you fell to the ground. Do you believe me? I will call the police and let them arrest you. Liu Erhu shouted, it only takes one phone call. Okay, you call the police. I can testify that these two people broke into a private house and acted like hooligans, breaking into a girl's room. I want to see whether the police will listen to you or me. Tang Chi stood up and said angrily. Who are you? Liu Erhu asked with some confusion. Although he was familiar with the people at the town police station, this woman drove a Mercedes-Benz G-Class and looked like a person of status and position. If things really came to that, and she came forward to testify, the outcome of the matter might not be certain. What do you care who I am? I came to Lin Xiaolong's house for dinner. If you delay my meal, I will make you pay for it. Tang Chi scolded with a stern face. When the people around saw Tang Chi defending Lin Xiaolong, they all started talking about it. Liu Erhu rolled his eyes, turned around and left in annoyance. Lin Xiaolong, let's wait and see, there are still 5 days, you must not let me down. Erlai and Santuzi saw that Liu Erhu had left. What else could they do here? Waiting to be punished? They also quickly got up and followed Liu Erhu happily. Chapter 22 What am I afraid of? Seeing Liu Erhu leave in disgrace, the neighbors around couldn't help but give Lin Xiaolong a thumbs up. Xiaolong is really capable. That's right, not only is his brain sharp, but is also such a good fighter. Did you see that? Such a pretty city girl has come to me. She must be attracted to Xiaolong. Oh my god, what kind of car is this? It's so impressive. I've never seen anyone in my village drive such a nice car. In the crowd, Wang Yanhong curled her lips and said, what can he do? If he can't pay back the money, he will have to give away his home. After saying that, Wang Yanhong walked away huffing, twisting her butt. She originally came here to laugh at Lin Xiaolong's family, but unexpectedly, Liu Erhu, who came to cause trouble, became a joke. Naturally, she was very angry. Many people shook their heads speechlessly. This woman and Xiaolong's family are one family, so why is she always so disloyal? Seeing that everyone around had dispersed, Lin Xiaolong led Tang Chi into their house. Xiaolong, who is this girl? Wang Ju looked at the beautiful girl in front of her and couldn't help but feel a little nervous. Could this be the daughter-in-law Xiaolong found for her? She is so beautiful and drives such a nice car, how could she be attracted to Xiaolong? Mom, her name is Tang Chi, she is my friend. She drove to our place today and happened to meet me, so I invited her to have dinner at my house. Lin Xiaolong said. Hello, auntie. I didn't expect to meet Xiaolong, so I didn't bring any gifts. I hope you won't mind. Tang Chi said generously. How could that be? It's a blessing for Xiaolong to have a friend like you. Come in and sit down. Upon hearing this, Wang Ju immediately greeted him happily. My son is already grown up, and it would be great if he could find a daughter-in-law like this for me. Unfortunately, given the family's financial situation, the other party is just here to have fun and I'm afraid they won't be interested in my son. Hello, Sister Tang Chi. Xiaoxue also happily stepped forward to greet her. Lin Xiaolong introduced, my sister, Xiaoxue. Xiaoxue, you are so beautiful. Tang Chi walked forward and held Xiaoxue's hand, liking her very much. I'm not beautiful. Sister Tang Chi is the real beautiful one. Xiaoxue said. Let's not be so modest, we are all beauties, okay? Tang Chi said with a smile. Xiaoxue, go to the fields and pick some fresh vegetables. I caught a big turtle in the reservoir. Our main dish today is farewell my concubine. Let's add some cucumbers, green onions, etc. and it will be ready. Lin Xiaolong said. Farewell my concubine. He, Lin Xiaolong, who made this dish? Tang Chi asked. Of course I'll cook it myself. Lin Xiaolong said, and started to pick up the knife. I'll help you. Tang Chi said happily. It was her first time eating at a farmer's house, and she was curious about everything. Lin Xiaolong's cooking skills were pretty good, and he quickly killed the old turtle and the hen, filling a large basin. Tang Chi was busy helping out, chopping firewood, and her fair little face was covered with ash. However, she was having a lot of fun doing it, and Wang Ju couldn't get involved even if he wanted to. Soon, the meal was ready. Lin Xiaolong carried his father outside and ate under the shade of the big sycamore tree in the yard. Tang Chi enjoyed the delicious and spicy farewell my concubine very much. Served with the fresh thorny cucumbers picked by Xiaoxue, tender white onions and other vegetables, Tang Chi felt embarrassed to eat and kept saying that he might get fat from this meal. After dinner, it was completely dark. Tang Qi wanted to drive away, but Lin Xiaolong was not familiar with her and it was not appropriate for her to stay overnight. Xieshua held Tang Qi's hand and said, "Sister Tang Qi, it's so late. It's not safe for you to drive back alone. Why don't you stay here and live with me tonight?" "That won't do. My dad will go crazy." Tang Qi held Xieshua's hand and said, "Xieshua, I accept you as my sister. When you go to the county town, come and play with me. I will take you for a good stroll." "Okay, Sister Tang Qi." Xieshua agreed happily. "Lin Xiaolong, won't you see me off?" Tang Qi asked Lin Xiaolong. "Hurry up, little brat." Huang Jing pushed her son. Lin Xiaolong smiled slightly and followed Tang Qi out. When they came to the car, Tang Qi said to Lin Xiaolong, "Does your family owe money to that gangster named Liu Erhu?" "Don't worry about it, I can handle this matter." Lin Xiaolong said. "What do you mean I don't need to care? Are we friends?" Tang Qi said unhappily. "You're not going to say I molested you?" Lin Xiaolong asked with a smile. "Go to hell." Tang Qi punched Lin Xiaolong and said, "If the money is not enough, call me and I will help you pay it back." "No, I said I can handle it. Why are you showing off? How about I repay you for saving my life?" Tang Qi said. "Just forget about this little money for saving your life. Didn't she pledge her love to you?" Lin Xiaolong joked. Tang Qi blushed. "I'll pledge my love to you, do you dare?" "TSK, what am I afraid of?" Lin Xiaolong said. "Okay, then I won't leave tonight. I'll sleep in the same room with you." Tang Qi stared at Lin Xiaolong and said. Lin Xiaolong originally wanted to play a joke on Tang Qi, but he didn't expect Tang Qi to say that. He stood there awkwardly, not knowing what to say. It took him a long while to finally say, "I'm not at home tonight. I have to go to the cherry orchard to look after it. Isn't it more exciting in the wild?" Tang Qi looked at Lin Xiaolong's embarrassment, held back her laughter, and said something more powerful. "Sister, please don't play with me. If you really have the guts, stay. Do you think I'm afraid of you?" Lin Xiaolong also realized that this girl was deliberately trying to make trouble for him. "Who are you calling big sister? Don't call me like that anymore." Tang Qi said a little angrily. "Then what should I call you?" Lin Xiaolong asked. "You can call me Tang Tang or Chichi, but you can't call me big sister." "Of course, you can call me Sister Tang," said Tang Qi. "Okay, how about we go to the cherry shop now? Roll." Tang Qi jumped into the car and reached out through the window to hit Lin Xiaolong. "You bastard, don't forget to call me. Be careful on the road." Lin Xiaolong warned. "Bye, my savior." Tang Qi giggled, and the car roared out. Lin Xiaolong was so scared that he quickly dodged to the side. This girl drives too fast. When the car was out of sight, Lin Xiaolong was still standing there, and the scent of Tang Qi seemed to still linger in the air. "Brother, when did you start dating?" Xieshua suddenly appeared beside him and asked mischievously. "We just met today." Lin Xiaolong said. "She came to our house for dinner right after we met, and she was flirting with you. Brother, you are so awesome." Xieshua teased Lin Xiaolong with a smile. "Little girl, what do you know?" Lin Xiaolong touched his sister's hair and said, "I won't stay at home tonight. I'll go to the cherry orchard to watch over it to prevent anyone from causing trouble." "Is it unnecessary?" Xieshua didn't know that the cherry tree at home had been sprayed with paraquat. "It is necessary. We still have to rely on these cherries to pay back the money." After saying this, Lin Xiaolong picked up a broken cattail leaf fan and went to the cherry orchard. Chapter 23, Midnight Ghost Laugh. Lin Xiaolong did not tell his sister about paraquat because he was afraid that she would worry and be anxious. He has now recovered and this kind of thing should naturally be resolved by him. There is a shack in Lin Xiaolong's family's cherry orchard, which was built by his father Lin Xiaolong to look after the orchard. After Lin Xiaolong arrived, he looked around and found the leaves of a very common plant. After squeezing out the juice, he applied it on his arms. Although the smell inside is not pungent to humans, it is very effective against mosquitoes. Although there were many mosquitoes in the garden, after Lin Xiaolong applied the juice, the mosquitoes immediately hid far away and none of them dared to approach. This method of repelling mosquitoes is just the simplest recipe in Shinangshu. For Lin Xiaolong, he could use it at will. Otherwise, the mosquitoes alone in an orchard like this would drive people crazy. Lin Xiaolong came to the shack, sat at the door and looked around. It was dark everywhere. If you were a timid person, you would not dare to spend the night in such a gloomy forest near the Longyang Reservoir at the foot of the mountain. Fortunately, Lin Xiaolong is now very skilled and brave, so he doesn't feel afraid at all. Moreover, he felt that the breeze here was cool and the air was very fresh, which was more comfortable than resting at home. The spiritual energy is much more abundant than at home. Anyway, it's still early now, so you might as well take advantage of this time to practice. Thinking of cultivation, Lin Xiaolong suddenly remembered the jade bottle. He took out the jade bottle and looked inside, but there was no spiritual liquid left. Could it be that all the spiritual fluids have been completely used up? Lin Xiaolong pulled out the stopper, and the remaining spiritual energy inside immediately released. Lin Xiaolong was afraid of wasting it, so he quickly put the bottle aside and greedily absorbed the remaining spiritual energy inside. Even the remaining spiritual energy is much more abundant than the spiritual energy in the surrounding air. After absorbing the spiritual energy, Lin Xiaolong sat cross-legged, absorbing the spiritual energy in the surrounding air and practicing Longyang Gong. He did not notice that while he was absorbing the spiritual energy in the surrounding air, a large portion of it also flowed into the jade bottle. Although Lin Xiaolong's cultivation speed was very fast, the spiritual energy here was not as abundant as that in Longyang Cave after all. Perhaps because of its location, the spiritual energy in the Longyang Cave in Longyang Lake is definitely hundreds of times more abundant than here. He continued practicing until about midnight, when Lin Xiaolong's eyes suddenly opened. His ears moved and he heard a sound of hurried footsteps approaching this side quickly. Someone is coming. What can I do in the middle of the night, heading towards my own cherry orchard? A sneer flashed across Lin Xiaolong's lips. It's not enough that I killed 10 cherry trees in my home with paraquat during the day, but now I have to work overtime at night. How great is the hatred? Lin Xiaolong took out his mobile phone, searched for a clip of a ghost laughing in a horror movie, turned the volume down to the lowest, and listened. The effect was indeed excellent. If you suddenly heard it in the wilderness in the middle of the night, it would definitely scare someone to death. Then he paused the clip and turned the volume up to maximum. Then, he put the phone in his pocket and walked quietly towards the cherry orchard. On the dirt road outside the cherry orchard, Huang Jing was holding a flashlight in one hand and a thin bamboo pole in the other, and was walking hurriedly towards Lin Xiaolong's cherry orchard. In fact, she was scared to death to come to such a place in the middle of the night. It's just that little bastard Lin Xiaolong actually dared to talk to me like that today. The key point is that he actually brought home such a beautiful and rich girl and drove Liu Erhu away. He has gotten all the limelight, which is really abominable. Wang Hongyang was originally a vicious and cruel person. Because Lin Xiaolong studied better than her son Lin Yongxiang and was admitted to a much better university than her son, she was always jealous and made things difficult for Lin Xiaolong's family everywhere. After Lin Xiaolong was beaten into a fool and expelled from school, Lin Xiaoxing became disabled and Wang Ju suffered a cerebral hemorrhage. Wang Yanhong not only did not have the slightest sympathy, but instead gloated over their misfortune and gossiped everywhere, saying that it was retribution for Lin Xiaolong's family. It's really unique for the old lady to do this. I let you threaten me to call the police, I let you show off and bring such a beautiful woman home. I won't give you paraquat anymore. I'll knock down all the cherries in your house. I don't want you to sell anything. She muttered to herself to give herself courage and looked around. She felt guilty and haunted, and she always felt like someone was following her. 2 dead elderly people had just been buried in the nearby cemetery these days, and she was really scared. Finally she arrived at Lin Xiaolong's cherry orchard and she breathed a sigh of relief. Holding a bamboo pole, she sneaked in, bypassed the cherry trees that she had hit with paraquat, and raised the bamboo pole to hit the cherries on the tree. He, har ha har ha, he har ha har ha. Suddenly, a sinister and terrifying ghost laugh exploded in her ears. That voice was like someone laughing next to her ear. Wang Yanhong's body shook violently, and all the hairs on her body stood up. At this moment, everything between heaven and earth seemed to have disappeared. The only thing left was the eerie and terrifying ghost laughter, which seemed to be swallowing her up. A scream suddenly came out from Wang Yanhong's mouth. She threw the bamboo pole in her hand out, then turned around and ran outside madly. Without even bothering to avoid the branches, Wang Yanhong ran out almost recklessly. Fortunately, she was only outside the yard, otherwise, if she had run like that, she would probably have crashed into a tree and died. The ghostly laughter seemed to be right behind her, catching up with her quickly. This frightened Huang Yanhong so much that her lower body felt hot and she wet her pants. Just as she ran onto the road, she stumbled and fell to the ground. Suddenly, 2 large front teeth fell out. But now, she no longer feels the pain. She hurriedly climbed up, and then, like a madman, screaming in fear, she ran quickly along the road towards the village. Lin Xiaolong put his cell phone in his trouser pocket and walked out of the yard slowly. Looking at the back of the man who was almost scared crazy, a look of disdain appeared on his face. This time I'm just giving you a small lesson, but next time it won't be so simple. That night, the entire Longyang village heard a woman's terrified scream. Lin Xiaolong returned to the shack, went inside, and fell into a deep sleep. We have to get up early in the morning to pick cherries. He had completely forgotten about the jade bottle lying on the ground outside. Spiritual energy was still continuously flowing into the jade bottle, just like humid air condensing into dew. Actually, a little bit of green spiritual liquid slowly appeared in the jade bottle. Although it is very small, it is increasing slowly and continuously. Chapter 24 Getting Rich. The next day, Lin Xiaolong got up at dawn. As soon as he walked out of the shack, he saw the jade bottle. Lin Xiaolong was shocked and blamed himself for being too careless. Such a precious thing was completely forgotten and I just threw it on the ground and left it there. It would be troublesome if it was taken away by someone else. He quickly picked up the jade bottle. But as soon as he picked it up, he was stunned. The jade bottle that was empty yesterday now had a thin layer of spiritual liquid at the bottom of the bottle. Yes, it is definitely spiritual fluid. Lin Xiaolong sensed that the concentration of spiritual energy in the spiritual liquid here was almost exactly the same as the spiritual liquid in the jade bottle before. What's going on? Lin Xiaolong was pleasantly surprised. Could it be that if he opened the bottle, the jade bottle would automatically absorb the spiritual energy in the air and then condense it into spiritual liquid in the bottle? This bottle is amazing, too. But now, after the sky brightened, the spiritual energy inside began to overflow. Lin Xiaolong quickly plugged the mouth of the jade bottle with a cork and put it in his pocket. It seems that spiritual energy may only be gathered at night. I can definitely try it again tonight. Lin Xiaolong was extremely delighted, and then he went to see the 10 cherry trees that had been watered with the diluted spiritual water. Although he was mentally prepared, when he saw the big, round, purple-red cherries on the cherry tree, Lin Xiaolong almost couldn't help but scream. The fruits on these 10 cherry trees are exactly the same as the one from yesterday, and the cherries on them are mouth-watering just by looking at them. That cherry tree was sold for more than 13,000 yuan yesterday. Each of these cherry trees today is as beautiful as the one yesterday. Doesn't that mean that even at yesterday's price, it can definitely be sold for more than 130,000? With this rate of making money, it would be like a piece of cake to earn Liu Erhu's 150,000 yuan, right? Moreover, Lin Xiaolong did not really intend to pay Lin Erhu back the 150,000 yuan. If Lin Xiaolong really paid back the interest of 100,000 a year, wouldn't he still be the same fool as before? Lin Xiaolong would not tolerate the temper of this kind of gangster. Looking at the 10 cherry trees, although Lin Xiaolong was very happy, he was not overwhelmed by the excitement. He was still thinking about the cherry trees that had been sprayed with paraquat. Moreover, he had a vague expectation in his heart that these spiritual liquids would probably have some effect on those trees, more or less. Thinking of this, Lin Xiaolong couldn't wait to go see those trees. Seeing this, Lin Xiaolong was stunned again. The cherry tree that had been watered with the spiritual liquid had now completely recovered to its previous state, growing lush and green. The cherries on it had also returned to their previous state, without any sign of having been sprayed with paraquat pesticides. This made Lin Xiaolong even doubt whether he had counted wrongly. He looked at it carefully again and was sure that he was definitely not mistaken. Because the situation of the other 9 trees in the same row as this tree is even worse. Many leaves and fruits have fallen to the ground. The tree has turned yellow and dry, and looks almost dead. No wonder the country banned the use of paraquat, it's really cruel. These trees are the fruits of my parents' and sister's labor. It would be such a pity if they really died like this. If you want to water the ground, you need to find someone in the motor room to turn on the motor to water. The cherry orchard had just been watered. Liu Sanchang, who was in charge of the motor room, would definitely not be willing to turn on the motor again for these 9 trees. So, Lin Xiaolong grabbed 2 buckets, ran to the Longyang reservoir, and fetched water. Fortunately, the cherry orchard is right in front of the Longyang reservoir. Although it is hard work to draw water, it is not a difficult task for Lin Xiaolong now. After running back and forth several times, each of the 9 cherry trees had been watered with a bucket of water. At the same time, Lin Xiaolong dripped a drop of spiritual liquid under each tree. As for whether he could recover to his previous state tomorrow, that was not something he could decide. But based on previous experience, it should be about the same. However, the cherry production on these trees would probably be good if it could maintain a quarter of the previous level. After doing all this, Lin Xiaolong immediately called his sister. "Brother, come home and have dinner. I've prepared everything." After I answered the phone, I heard my sister's voice. "Xiaoxue, borrow Aunt Zhang's tricycle and hurry to the cherry orchard." Lin Xiaolong said. Brother, are the cherries ripe again?" Lin Xiaoxue asked in disbelief. After all, in her opinion, the tree yesterday had mutated, and this situation would never happen again. "Listen to me, you'll know when you get here," said Lin Xiaolong. "Okay, I'll go right away." Although Lin Xiaoxue felt it was impossible, but listening to her brother's tone, she still felt that something good must have happened again. She quickly ran to her neighbor Aunt Zhang to borrow a tricycle. Aunt Zhang was very happy because Lin Xiaolong had filled up the petrol in the tricycle yesterday before returning it. As soon as Lin Xiaoxue asked to borrow a tricycle, Aunt Zhang lent it to her without saying a word. Anyway, this tricycle is only used when selling cherries after picking them. The cherries in her garden will not be ripe for at least a week, so they can't be used now. Lin Xiaoxue rode her tricycle and soon arrived at the cherry orchard. Lin Xiaolong was waiting at the intersection. When he saw his sister coming, he immediately pulled her into the garden. "Brother, what's going on? Don't tell me there are really cherries like those yesterday." Lin Xiaoxue said with a smile. "Look for yourself." Lin Xiaolong pointed to the cherry tree in front of him. Upon seeing this, Lin Xiaoxue opened her mouth wide, her face full of shock and disbelief. "Oh my God! How is this possible?" Lin Xiaoxue grabbed her brother's arm tightly, and it hurt Lin Xiaolong. "Xiaoxue, it's time for our family to get rich." Lin Xiaolong touched his sister's hair lovingly. "Don't just stand there, let us pick cherries quickly. Today I'm going to sell more cherries than yesterday." "Yeah." Lin Xiaoxue nodded excitedly, and walked forward to pick them impatiently. Picking cherries is definitely a very troublesome thing. It took the brother and sister more than 2 hours to pick all the cherries from the tree. There were more than 10 barrels, more than 200 kilograms. "Brother, the tricycle can only carry this much, and we don't have any extra buckets at home," Lin Xiaoxue said. "It's okay. I'll take these to the county town and sell them. You stay here and don't let anyone in." Lin Xiaolong instructed. "I'll buy some more buckets when I come back." "I understand, brother." Lin Xiaoxue certainly knew the character of those people in the village. If they knew the condition of her own cherries, they would probably do something bad again. Lin Xiaolong loaded the cherries onto the tricycle, covered it with a tarpaulin, and then drove the tricycle quickly towards the county town. Chapter 25, Sure enough, supermarket. When Lin Xiaolong drove his tricycle to the edge of the county town, he called Su Yaxian. It took a long time before the other end picked up the phone. A lazy and pleasant voice sounded. "Who is it?" "Sister Yaxian, I'm Lin Xiaolong." Lin Xiaolong said. "Lin Xiaolong." It seemed like the person on the other end couldn't remember who it was. Lin Xiaolong couldn't help feeling a little disappointed. Yesterday he said that he had a sweet mouth, but today he forgot who he was. Are all the beauties in this city so forgetful? Just when Lin Xiaolong was disappointed, the other party suddenly seemed to wake up. "It's you, Lin Xiaolong, why are you calling me so early in the morning? It's annoying to disturb someone's sleep, don't you know?" Lin Xiaolong then realized that Su Yaxian was just half asleep and not fully awake yet. But judging from her tone, she didn't seem angry at all. "Sister Yaxian, my cherries have been delivered. Do you want some more?" Lin Xiaolong asked with a smile. In fact, he was not afraid that Su Yaxian would not want them. After all, even if Su Yaxian had a lot of spare money, it was impossible for her to buy so many cherries just for fun. Even if he went to the gate of the community to sell them, given the popularity of these cherries, they would definitely be sold out quickly. Same as yesterday. Su Yaxian's excited voice came from the other side. Yes, exactly the same, big and round, and purple. Lin Xiaolong said, not understanding why Su Yaxian was so excited. Great, please send it to my fruit supermarket immediately. Su Yaxian said excitedly. Fruit supermarket? Only then did Lin Xiaolong understand why Su Yaxian asked him to sell everything to her. It turns out that she runs a fruit supermarket. But this is better, as it saves me the trouble of selling them piecemeal. Okay, but where is your fruit supermarket? Lin Xiaolong asked. It's really a supermarket. Don't say you haven't heard of it. Su Yaxian said. Lin Xiaolong smiled bitterly and said, I've never heard of it. Okay, you beat me. I'll send you the location on WeChat and you can just go over. I'm rushing to the supermarket too. Su Yaxian said speechlessly. Okay, Sister Yaxian. After hanging up the phone, Lin Xiaolong soon received the location message from Su Yaxian on WeChat. Lin Xiaolong got on the tricycle and followed the navigation to the Guoran supermarket. By the time Lin Xiaolong arrived at the Guoran supermarket, Su Yaxian had just arrived. The supermarket clerks had just started work. After all, it was too early, not even 8 o'clock in the morning. As expected, the supermarket is in a great location, right in the downtown area, and the decoration style is very fresh and natural, giving people a feeling of being in nature. One can tell at a glance that the fruits inside are very fresh. Su Yaxian obviously didn't have time to put on makeup, but she was naturally beautiful, and she looked even more like a lotus emerging from the water, fresh and sweet, really heartwarming. Seeing Lin Xiaolong staring at her blankly, Su Yaxian rolled her eyes at Lin Xiaolong. What are you looking at? Have you never seen a beautiful woman before? Lin Xiaolong smiled embarrassedly. I have seen beautiful women, but I have never seen such a beautiful woman. Loquacious. Su Yaxian seemed very happy when she heard Lin Xiaolong say this. She walked up to the tricycle, lifted the tarpaulin, and was shocked again. Although I had seen this kind of cherries yesterday, there were only a few left. Su Yaxian still felt a little unbelievable when she saw so many big purple cherries today. Okay, I take them all. 71 kilograms. How about it? I think I can take good care of you. Su Yaxian said happily. Sister, it's 71 kilograms. You won't have too much inventory because you can't sell it, right? Lin Xiaolong asked worriedly. After all, he sold 61 kilograms yesterday, and he already felt that he was selling it a bit too expensive. There are many rich people in the city, but 60 or 71 kilograms of fruit is definitely not something that ordinary people can afford. Su Yaxian patted Lin Xiaolong on the shoulder. Don't worry, I won't do business at a loss. That's good. Lin Xiaolong said and started to move the cherries down. Lily, come over and help. Su Yaxian called to the clerk. Lily ran over from the store and saw the cherries that Lin Xiaolong had just brought down. She immediately cried out in surprise, Oh my god, where are these cherries from? They look so good. Hee, the secret cannot be revealed. Su Yaxian said and sighed, it's a pity that there are too few. You think it's too little? I have more. Lin Xiaolong said immediately. Anything else? Su Yaxian's beautiful big eyes were almost shining. Yes, for this, we also need a 9-wheeled tricycle. Lin Xiaolong said. Great, I want them all. Why don't you bring them all here? Su Yaxian was so happy that she almost jumped up. Sister Yaxian, my tricycle can only carry these at most. Besides, can your small supermarket sell so many cherries in a day? These cherries can't last long. Lin Xiaolong said for Su Yaxian's sake. You're underestimating me, aren't you? I run a chain of supermarkets. There are 15 stores in this county alone. Even if you have more, I can handle them for you. Su Yaxian said. What? 15 stores? Sister, you are so amazing. Lin Xiaolong was really shocked. At such a young age, she actually opened so many fruit shops. If I could marry such a beauty. TSK. I guess I could have worked less for 20 years. It's just so. Su Yaxian said modestly, which was rare for her, but she seemed quite proud of herself. Okay, let's unload the goods quickly so I can go back and haul more. It looks like we'll have to haul more than 10 trips today. Lin Xiaolong quickly carried the cherries down. Idiot, how long will it take you to finish delivering the fruits with your tricycle? I have a van that's specially made for delivering fresh fruits. I'll ask him to go with you and we can finish it with one truck. Real. How can this be fake? Su Yaxian immediately made a phone call. Brother Yang, come to the main store quickly and help me pick up the cherries. Then I'll go buy some more buckets. Lin Xiaolong said hurriedly. Idiot, I have special baskets for fruits in my van, so I don't need your bucket. Su Yaxian said with a smile. Two idiots in a row made Lin Xiaolong feel embarrassed. However, Su Yaxian didn't really think he was stupid. It was obvious that she was joking with Lin Xiaolong. Soon, a man in his 30s drove over in a van. The man was Brother Yang, whom Su Yaxian called. His name was Zhang Yang. He had an honest face and was very strong. Brother Yang, you follow Lin Xiaolong to their village, and I will drive there too. Su Yaxian said. Sister Yaxian, are you going too? Lin Xiaolong asked. Of course I have to go. I have to see what variety of cherries you have and what's so special about them that you can grow such good cherries. Su Yaxian was really interested. Okay, it just so happens that no one helps me pick cherries. Lin Xiaolong said happily. I'm not going to do hard labor for you. I'm not going to pick cherries for you. That's impossible. Su Yaxian said deliberately. Then, the three of them drove off towards Longyang Village. However, the worst tricycle driven by Lin Xiaolong was in the front, with a box truck in the middle, and at the back was a red Mercedes. As soon as the three cars entered Longyang Village, they immediately attracted the villagers' enthusiastic attention.